Welcome to Self-Perfected.
Hey.
There we go.
All right, nice. Now we're live
All right.
everywhere.
So, hey guys, did anything happen since last time we talked? Or
Um,
Feels like I've lived in
I
a
went to a
nightmare
baby
now
shower. That was
Hmm.
cool. Yeah.
for
for
your
yourself?
baby.
No, not for
For
our
yourself?
baby. For a baby sh for our baby showers, we just
You
put
just like
Christine
identify that you're
in
having a
bed.
baby so you can have a baby shower and get free shit from your
You
friends.
know, it's so weird
That's
they
what
call
they
it
do
that
in the woke
because
world
that's like the last thing you're supposed to do with like a new baby.
Yeah, shower it. Well,
Why are
no,
you
you're
shitting in the
showering
baby?
it with love.
with your affection.
Oh, that's why they call it that. I never thought
I
about it
don't
before.
know.
Like, why is it called a shower? But that makes sense because they're being showered with gifts.
With
Yeah,
love.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense though.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Actually,
Or it's
crazy.
like
I
a
never
shower.
really thought
Maybe
about
we've
it.
been pronouncing it
that's
wrong, and it's
funny.
like a shower. You're like showing everyone. You're like,
But
look,
it's
I got
before
a
the baby
like.
comes
Do you see
out.
it? You
Oh
see the
yeah.
baby? I'm
No, that makes
showing
actually
that
a
I
lot
have a
of
baby.
sense.
I'm a
Baby
I'm a
shower.
I'm a grower, not a shower.
I'm a baby shower, not a baby grower.
Baby grower. Whoa, that gives me Matrix vibes. Dude, I
Okay.
wonder. I was talking to someone last night. I was at this dinner, and he was like in the military, and we were talking about like we were talking about Taiwan. I was like, "Do you think China's gonna like take Taiwan?" And he's like, "Well, he's like, I think ultimately, yeah, they're gonna try, but you know, they're facing this population collapse." I was like, "Dude, it's only a matter of time before China's like growing babies in a lab, you know?"
Oh, they already
Like,
are.
oh, well, shit, I'm late
I
to the
think they
party
do it
on
right
that
next
one.
to what with the where they do like the bat viruses.
Oh shit, advanced humans. It's next level, guys. We gotta
You
be
go
ready
into
for
like
it.
a Chinese laboratory and it's like uh what's that fucking basketball player named? Remember
Yao
him?
Yao
Ming.
Ming.
Yao Ming.
It's like
There's like
Yao
a
Ming
thousand Yao
clones. It's like
Mings.
Yao Ming clones and what like the labels over the doors. Yao Ming clones. And over here it's like coronavirus gain of function research. Like,
I'll show you
Yeah.
a picture from the baby shower that I went to. This is
Yo, what?
it's a wanted poster.
what the hell? How do they already have a picture of the baby?
That's me.
Is it your baby shower?
No, it's not my baby shower. They just they asked for us to send in pictures of ourselves as babies, and then they
So
printed these. So they're looking for me, apparently.
okay, you don't
Then
have
they
to say
found
who
you.
it is,
Uh-huh.
and I don't want to insult anybody, but they misspelled reward.
What they misspelled.
So no, it was actually a scheme because now you go in for your 20 grand because you're like, bro, I'm here. They're like, oh,
I think it was I
you
think it was
did
just $20. They just put too many zeros. Look, whoever you are, I apologize. We're just having fun here. We're just having fun. But
That's
the
This is
hilarious.
the
picture
importance
makes
of
no
spelling,
sense.
though, right?
The
Because
picture
now
doesn't make sense.
Drake is not entitled to his
I
20
think I
grand.
think I think I
What
think
they're actually trying to say is they want me to kill Drake.
no, I think what they're
Mm.
actually doing, right, is they wrote reward so that when you come to claim the reward, they're like, no, there's no reward.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Look
you're
at the
getting
fine print.
reward.
Look
That
at
was a
the normal
reward.
print. I think they should have put a
T.
T. Yes.
That was actually what it was about. It was a T, but it was a typo on that.
Whoever you are, I'm sorry. We're just having fun.
Yeah,
We're just in a
yeah,
good mood. We're playing.
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. We're in a
I mean,
good
we
mood for
can
the
be in a
first
good
time in
mood now.
4 years.
I mean, we've got like a little bit of space.
Look, literally, there's no joke worse. There's no joke I could tell that's worse than the whole Puerto Rico being an island of garbage. So I feel like
Yeah, that was
everything is
offensive.
on limits.
I mean,
Someone
that
was
totally
telling
made
us
Puerto Rico not like Trump, right?
someone was telling us that their Puerto Rican grandmother or whatever was all for Trump until they made that joke, and then they were like, "I'm voting for Kamala." They literally voted for
If that's
Kamala.
all it took,
That's all it took. And I was like, and it's so funny because Christine and I have been talking, and she
That's
keeps saying
hilarious.
this. This is Christine's quote. She keeps saying, this is exactly why women should not be allowed to vote. This election proves,
and Puerto Ricans,
and especially Puerto Rican
I don't
women.
think they can vote. Actually, All right, you're all going back to Puerto
I
Rico.
think it's like a participation
And you should be happy
trophy.
about it because it's not a floating island of garbage. So you should why I if it's so like guys, it's so amazing. That's why you went to the United States because Puerto Rico is a floating island of garbage, right? Or otherwise, why don't you just stay in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
right? It's like a paradise there.
It's funny because like that's literally the argument that you would get. It's like my family's from DR, which is a different relationship than Puerto Rico has with the US, but very
Yeah, we just
similar.
get all the baseball players.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. All the baseball players allowed here. I've had a few family members who got here illegally and then they got sent back for well, they were one of those people. They were one of those statistics, those statistics that are like, how many illegals come over here and commit crimes. So I've had a few of those. But
Yeah, yeah. Drake came over here and stole Christine's heart. Maybe that's why there's a $20,000 reward for your
Guilty.
fucking life over here. Okay, I'm about to collect.
Rebarred. That's it. That's it. No,
Yeah.
but it's funny because like a lot of my family members, they come here because they're like, this is a much better life than what I had over there. There's not much opportunity there. And someone I was talking to yesterday was saying like the people in Puerto Rico, at least when she was growing up, it was very easy to like eat a bag of chips and then literally just toss it on the ground where you were. And there would
Why
be,
would that be easier there than anywhere else?
but like she was saying, like,
It's not hard to do that.
no, but that's like part of like it's kind of in the culture of the people that she was around was like, you just toss it on the ground and somebody's gonna come pick it up. It's not my job, it's their job. Right. And like literally the person who its job it was to pick it up would be there like
Also
you do
throwing
this in your
chips
own
on the
home.
ground.
Like,
All the people who would have picked it up went to America to clean people's houses.
right. I can at least get
No wonder
paid
they have a
living
garbage
wage to
problem. It's
do
literally
this.
just like piling up. They're like, ah.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently all these crypto nerds go there. I've heard that. It's like there was something with taxes, and so they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go to Puerto Rico. It's gonna be awesome." I'm like, why?
I've been there one time, and from a cruise, we stopped, had dinner.
I
Were
was
you
on
there,
that
Drake?
cruise. I think I was
No,
on
you
that
weren't. You
cruise.
we didn't really. Yeah.
No.
But we went and had like dinner at some, I'm assuming a Puerto Rican restaurant. And I just remember like all the shops were like jewelry shops. It was just like you could buy like fucking Rolexes and shit. Like I guess duty free. I don't know.
That one, like it stopped in San Juan. That
Yeah.
one. And
Yeah.
there's like
That one,
a
yeah.
Senora Frogs right there off the port.
I don't know where we went, but it was pretty good. I had this whole like fried fish. It was in mofongo, dude. It was good. It
had
was
some
pretty
mofongo.
good. It was probably one of the best like Mexican food meals I ever had. That was the best Mexican restaurant I ever went to. They didn't have any tacos or burritos on the menu, but it was still it was really good.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
I had just went with the fried fish. It was like the whole thing. I don't know what kind of fish it was.
Probably snapper, red snapper.
I think you're right.
That's
I think it
usually-
was. Yeah, I think it was. It was
That's
it was
usually the
good,
fish.
and I still think about that probably 2 or 3 times a day.
Dude, so aside even with that joke and even with that one Puerto Rican woman voting for Kamala, Trump still won. That was kind of crazy how he was
Dude.
able to pull that off even after she was like upset.
Do they do that voter ID in Puerto Rico?
I don't think they vote in Puerto Rico.
I think she was in New York when she voted. Did you? Okay, all right. Speaking of which, literally, like within 48 hours, New York stopped the EBT cards or whatever the gift cards that they were giving to the migrants, to the illegal immigrants that are here, or asylum seekers or whatever they
They're
are.
like, fuck y'all, your free ride's over. Get the fuck back out of here.
Literally within 48 hours, they were just like, click, done.
Dude.
Sorry. You
Dude,
don't
that's
get
just crazy. Imagine you like established, your little hustle here, and you're like starting to grow, and then all of a sudden your funding's cut off.
Dude,
Like,
they said they were giving
yeah.
them I think they were saying like 1,000 a month for food, right? 1,000 a month. And I saw somebody in the comments saying like
That's a lot of chicharrones.
You know about chicharrones? Oh
I'm
shit!
just saying, I could buy you.
Oh shit! Mitch,
You got to get
we'll
them
cut you
fresh
I
out.
don't know.
because
You
Are,
have to get them
are
fresh.
those
if they're
the
stale, not
pork? Are
good.
those the pork rind thing that like pops
Yeah,
up
but
like a
they're like
chip?
fried, like
Oh yeah,
right then
yeah.
and
I've had
there, and
those.
like
Yeah.
you can even
Mitch,
do it with chicken.
just stop pretending like you know.
No,
We
I've
saw
had
the
them.
color of your state after the election.
I do not eat these in Minnesota. I
It
eat
was
these in
there
South
was
America.
surprisingly a lot of red in your state. I was surprised.
Dude, everybody's red in the state except for fucking Minneapolis. And you know in
Crazy.
Minneapolis, it's like just like
Dude, can we pull up that map? Do you have that
let's pull
map?
it up.
Can we pull up that map?
Uh
That was insane.
what just the red map.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy though.
just
Like,
how
I don't think
much.
I just
anyone
searched red map.
here, I know none of us are surprised that Trump won. But at the
No.
same time, probably you guys felt the same. I'm sure we talked about it. But
Let
my
me see what
thinking
the
was, he's going to
counties.
win. Are they going to steal it somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Is this the
Okay.
one with I don't have the one with
You
the
have
little
it?
counties.
You have it?
maybe Biden did win. Maybe it
All
was just
right.
so much. They were so
Here we
like, but the
go.
thing is, like, there was
I
no
got the
You got
COVID
it?
and there
ultimate
was no BLM
snopes.
stuff this year. Why didn't they do more COVIDs and BLMs?
Why didn't they do more COVIDs and BLMs?
Seriously, if they had just done a COVID and a BLM, they would have won.
That's it. That's it.
Okay,
Look at
check it.
that. Look at
My
that. Look at
county, for the record, that's my county. We're red.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like that
But
that
they
blue
had
one
some
right
midnight
there.
votes coming in. Oh Jesus.
Oh man. All right, let's see. Let's look. Let's look. Okay, look.
Everyone
I'm
leave a
next to
comment.
that
What
county.
color is your county? Leave a comment in the group.
Look at
Under the
Oklahoma.
video.
Oh, dude. Okay, look at the center of Florida in Orlando, right? That blue spot right there, that is Orlando. But literally
Wow.
You know what this
right,
looks like?
what's that?
A petri dish where like mold's starting to pop up in the.
Looks like the red has already taken over everything. Just like it's just gotta
It's funny because
feed
like
itself.
obviously it's like, oh, red versus blue, like
Yeah,
Republicans.
yeah.
It's like, dude, you know what though? If this had been 2004, I'd have been like, fuck all this. But it's like this is a whole different, and it's not even just about Trump because Trump is just one person. It's just like the
Yeah.
whole context of everything that's happening.
Maybe like would you mind sharing a little bit about like because I know for myself I don't I'm not even registered as a Republican. I'm registered no
I'm not
party
either.
affiliation.
I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I grew up, my family was like Democrat. Just we always just vote Democrat down the line. Doesn't matter. Who
Yeah.
do we research the people? No, we just vote Democrat because they're for us and the Republicans are not for us.
And that is why they want immigrants.
Yeah.
That is why. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was because we were black. Damn.
You're not black.
I know.
See,
I
you're black when
forgot.
you want to be.
I'm like Kamala. I'm
That's
like
like me.
Kamala.
When I want to be, I'm a white male. When I don't want to be, I'm a Jew.
It's just
Damn,
like
I don't
Ben
have any
Shapiro.
of
You
these
guys have
privileges,
a lot in
guys.
common.
I'm just the white male. Fuck. But I tan well, so I
And
can
your
kind of blend
state
in.
sucks the most.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
that is
Sorry.
true. We did put up the worst fucking vice president pick in history.
Dude. That
He's
was
literally our
pretty
governor.
insane. That was pretty insane.
It's
I didn't
so-
know
I
it.
Dude,
really did. Okay. I
it's
really
insane.
think Biden did a fuck you. And that's why he endorsed Kamala and the whole thing. They didn't want Kamala. They probably wanted Gavin Newsom and shit. I guarantee you. I think
What's your
that's really what
supporting
happened.
evidence for this thesis?
Do you see that video where he's like doing the press conference and then like
Dude,
walks out and then
afterwards?
stops and turns and he's like,
Dude, and he just seemed like
dude, and his speech was
he
totally
seemed
coherent.
different, dude. That
Yeah,
was very
it
weird.
was.
That was very
It's-
fucking weird.
Is like that
He
was a
either
really
like popped a
weird
giant
speech.
Adderall before, or he like is literally just he was like just fucking.
He didn't stumble, like, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Or over
seeing-
his
Remind me
words
of the
or
good old days of
stares.
Biden, back when Biden was with it.
Back when he was like
snappy.
the best guy I've ever heard. Honestly, of all the people, not on the Trump side, I kind of like Biden now.
Yeah,
Like I don't
I
actually,
liked when he
but
put on the MAGA hat though. That was really fucking.
it was
funny.
awesome. Like it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like that.
Okay,
weird
okay,
old grandpa.
and guys, I was like, come on, but Jill Biden, is this true? She wore a red to go vote.
Did she?
That's what I saw.
That's so funny.
Look it up. Look it up. Look it up.
Jill Biden red.
I thought she wore a
voting.
panda costume.
Yeah, I saw that panda costume. Then I saw the QAnon people. Like, do you know what the panda symbolizes? I was like,
Jesus, dude.
whoa.
It was like
Don't look it up.
really
It's pretty
intense.
fucked up.
I did not want to read that at all.
It
It
just
was-
seems
it was pretty
like,
fucked
yeah,
up.
I don't know about the panda.
Yeah,
thing.
she was wearing red. Yep, she wore red voting.
Was she what? Just like a red purse, a red.
No, like a
Can you share
a
the screen?
red. I don't know. I don't know what you call
Oh,
it.
a
Red suit.
whole entirely
Okay,
red.
What about
outfit.
her shoes? What about her shoes?
Oh shit!
Like she was trying to send some
Are
sort
they
of
black or
coded
red?
message.
Oh come on, give me the full.
I can't tell.
I need to see what her shoes are.
They look maybe black.
They look black.
Okay, but still,
Open image in
Like,
a new tab.
It
a
looks, like,
woman,
uncomfortable.
a
Jesus, I don't
woman
know how women
doesn't
wear it.
accidentally wear
Right.
red. I mean, come on, dude.
Right, that's funny. Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
don't know. Like all the cameras are going to be there. What am I wearing today? Like,
Wow.
Maybe I should
why
wear.
would she go vote in the presidential election and wear all red? It makes
Because she's
no
like, my
sense.
husband's out. It doesn't matter anymore.
Dude, maybe
I
they
can
know
vote
they're
who I
so
vote for.
fucked over too, and so they're like, "Please, Trump, have mercy on me."
No, they probably voted for Trump.
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Dude,
surprised.
The
Does he-
only
he
people
know-
voting
dude.
for Democrats was the Puerto Ricans.
Even
the Bidens- Even the Bidens voted for Trump. Even the Democrat.
Dude, that
Dude.
shit is wild. Because I mean, dude, think about this. You saw all those I don't even know what that was, but all those new videos of Trump coming out. He's like, we're gonna, dismantle the deep state. He had the announcements about those new
Oh,
cities.
you know what it reminded me of?
Mhm.
Philip K. Dick, the Yanceman, or Yancey, right? Like the penultimate
this is-
truth. You didn't read it, Mitch.
Oh, like what? Like the politician that like.
Like he's like up there and like giving his address to
Mhm.
Americans and like, all right, now we're gonna go do this, and like everyone's like,
I think okay.
has this
Here's my
sense of
theory on what's going
patriotism.
on. He's doing a couple of things. He's building his coalition. He's handling buyer's remorse, and he's countering all of the negative propaganda that's coming and going to come at him to get people to like think that he's turning his back on what he said and all that stuff. And
And I think he's handling objections too. He's
Yeah,
like setting the groundwork for day one.
and potentially the point where they try to like stop him with the 14th Amendment on January 6th, so that people would be like, no, I ain't fucking doing that. Like, you can't just take away tariffs and make, all these different things he's saying. Like, we're not going back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what's
The
going
tariff thing is interesting.
Did you see that one I sent you this morning?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
So okay.
Because I saw some like, professor guy, Katie was telling me she saw it too, of like this guy like, oh, all it's going to do is, they're just going to build the cost into the product and all this stuff. And I'm like, well,
Right.
yeah, that's probably true. But my thinking was,
I don't even like.
but
fucking
wouldn't that, okay,
German
I
product
didn't even
anyway.
consider the point about if you do it and you remove the income tax, you get more money back. And so even if there is more built in, you're like, it's not really changing that.
Right.
But think about all of the stuff you wouldn't have to think about if you didn't have to do the income tax point.
Dude, like the fear of like paying taxes, like Wesley Snipes would have never had to go into prison, like, but
then
seriously,
again, he never would have made Blade.
if there was no income tax.
Yeah, somehow I think it checks out.
I never saw Blade.
But I was thinking, my thinking was, okay, let's say you do the tariffs, it increases the cost of these like Chinese goods, but they were artificially low because they're using slave labor and AI automated manufacturing processes.
Yeah.
So all that's going to happen is you're going to have over on this side an increase of manufacturing in the US that would be able to compete.
Here's what I saw. I saw
It may
somebody
not bring
saying-
jobs back, but at least it would just bring everything back here.
Right. What I saw was somebody saying it's not going to bring jobs back because now they're just going to close down the factory in China and move it to Vietnam or somewhere else that doesn't have a high tariff against them for bringing in goods to this country. But even still, it's like
We'll just tariff their ass too.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be hard for Trump to learn that quick and then just.
Like
In the context of how the current system works, I think the tariff thing makes sense.
I think so too.
It's like stopping the bleeding, kind of. It's like, you're.
But there's also, you got to look at, there's also a bunch of people who they just want to hold on to what they know. and they're afraid to try something new, you know? And so they're like, oh
Lame.
no,
Lame.
if he does this, like then maybe we might pay more. I don't know. I don't know. I don't actually know how this works.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, okay, Trump is a businessman. Like he fucking gets business. If
Yeah.
anything can be said about him, and oh, okay, I know the objection to this. It's like, oh, but he's gone bankrupt 6 times. Like he doesn't really know business, and he was just given $1 million by his father. You know, and we can't all just start off with $100 million loan and just given to us. And like okay, all that aside, that's great arguments, right? Um, if you were given $100 million, what the fuck do you think you'd do with it? I'll tell you what you'd do with it. Look at 99% of the lotto winners. Where did they end up? In a fucking trailer park with less than what they started with. Like, and
You know what I would do? First day, I would just buy a trailer park. Might as well. At least you'd own the trailer park at the
You're
end
gonna
of
end
it.
up there.
You just pay rent to yourself.
Yeah, they just can't even comprehend that.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
because it's programming. I mean,
Right.
yeah. Also, like, look at The Apprentice. It became like one of the #1 fucking shows, and all the
You can't
spinoffs.
tell me he
It's
doesn't
just
know how to market.
that's just some fucking cognitive dissonance stuff of like.
Yeah.
But they told me he's stupid, so he must be stupid.
It's like, okay, so you would not, given the opportunity, you would not go into business with Trump? Like, if he was like, oh, I'm gonna do this really great deal. It's gonna make us a ton of money. I'm giving you the opportunity to jump in on this. All you have to do is sign your name here and say you love Trump. You're not gonna be like,
To say you love Trump, that's part of the agreement.
yeah, you know.
He's like, first, do you love me? Yes.
Do you love
Okay.
me? I just need to know. Do you love me? I don't want to do deals with people.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody who does business, they love me. They love me the most. See, it says in the contract. They signed it.
Dude, okay. Hey, have you been updating the YouTube playlist?
Yeah, I haven't been watching YouTube much lately.
No. What about the
X is just so much better.
Candace thing? The Candace thing. Yeah, X is.
I'm pretty sure I put that on there. Yeah.
The
Okay,
CIA?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CIA thing. Because like he was saying, when you join the CIA, you have to sign an NDA that basically says if you speak out, they don't murder your whole family, not the whole family.
Dude,
but they
Put you
definitely
in a
put you
moldy house.
That
in
story-
the-
Like I didn't finish it because anyways, I watched a chunk of it, but like
It was good.
it
Yeah.
was really interesting. You know, when he talked about the point of how like they're in that big audience, the auditorium, you know, and then they're like basically brainwashing you, like you're the best and brightest and all this shit. And like it's very similar because I went to an elite university, an elite prep school. Like it's a similar thing of what it's not like I'm not like sitting here judging like, oh, they brainwash you. It's just like that is what you do. Like it's so funny when they use that term brainwashing because it's like, what do you think if you play on like the fucking Patriots football
Dude,
team?
literally,
Right.
it's all brainwashed.
Aren't they going to do the same shit if you go and join the military? Aren't they going to do the same shit if you go and you know what I mean? Anything you're a part of, you're going to do that. You have to, but also like you probably believe it. Otherwise you wouldn't be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So
And what else are they going to do? What's the alternative? Not say that? Like really?
right, like hey guys, you know, you're here. You could be somewhere
Pretty
else. It's
good.
not that important. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Hey, bye. You know, like if you join Tesla, anything they're gonna be like, we're amazing.
Yeah. And then like just in the back of your head, I know in like 5 years, you're all going to be replaced by robots.
Dude.
But just don't think about that. You're amazing.
Case in point, if you're from Puerto Rico, you literally live on a floating island of garbage, and yet you'll get offended if someone says it because you think it's so amazing. Like, yeah, you have great mofongo. I'll give you that.
Oh, you know what I was thinking of when this woman was telling me about like the woman who from Puerto Rico who voted for Kamala. I was like, oh, that's low self-esteem. That's like the epitome of low self-esteem right there.
Right.
It's like, I'm offended. I was like, it wasn't even directed towards you.
Well, think about it. Those people will not matter anymore at a certain point because what does it tell you about where this person gets their information?
Right. Mainstream.
Mainstream, or they heard it from somebody. They're clearly not on the internet, like on X or on somewhere like, that's not just an echo chamber. Because as
Yeah.
much as X is an algorithmic and stuff, like you can definitely there's the liberals, everybody else is on there too.
Yeah.
You go to Reddit, it's only the retards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they, in fact, remember when Trump, remember the Trump subreddit back in 2016? It was
It used to be-
amazing.
wasn't it the biggest one? Like
It
of
was
all
crazy. I
time?
was on there like every day during that time, but then they literally shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
remember.
think before he got elected. Pretty sure.
Yeah, the Donald got shut
Yeah,
down because
the
they were
Donald,
like, they were like, no, we don't want Trump to get elected.
Trying to remember what the specific thing was that happened.
Maybe
It
he
was
said grab him by the pussy or something.
no, it was like something to do with like maybe the Pizzagate.
Hmm.
I can't remember. There was something specific that was you. It was like kind of the momentum that caused it to be shut down. I don't remember what it was though. It was like they were acting like people were calling for violence or something, which there was none of that shit. There was like memes and stuff, but there was no like organizing people to go hurt somebody. There was none of that.
So okay, let's I have something that I want to talk about. Let's get into it. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
You guys.
You guys should start recording.
Yeah.
So breaking
Do it
news,
up.
everybody, in case you didn't know, we had an election here in the United States that was on Tuesday, right? Leading up to the election, we were told that it was between a black woman, an Indian woman, no, a black woman, who
Black woman.
represents all of joy,
I don't know how you know she's a woman.
everything that is great for
True.
everything that we need to progress and have free rights,
Women's
for
rights.
Turn the
women's
page
rights,
and
women's
not go
rights.
back.
Yeah, and we turning the page, not going back to her current administration, and we're going to turn the page on that. It was between her and
What are we gonna do? We're gonna
literally Hitler.
turn the page.
Turn the page. All right. So we turned the page. Yeah. So anyway, it was between everything that's right with the world and literal Hitler, and then we had an election, and apparently, literal Hitler won.
I mean, dude, if he gets rid of the Federal Reserve, creates like a jobs program.
Stop! Hold it in for just a little longer. We gotta. Come on, you like make it enjoyable. Like, don't
I'm
just
40
bust.
years old. I have 3 kids. There's no more foreplay. Okay, you just get right into it. All right, you don't have time for that shit.
Oh man!
If Katie's listening, she knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So anyway, after literal Hitler won, the other side started saying things like, it's all good actually. It's
The
not-
other
it's not
side,
good."
meaning like the pundits and the politicians.
Yeah. Other side being like Kamala Harris. Here's
Yeah,
an
and
image.
when I saw that, I was like, okay, are you gonna play something? Okay,
I was just gonna show this image of like, this is for her, for all
Hold
her
on.
daughters. And
Who's posting that? Who's posting that?
Liz Cheney.
Oh.
Dick fucking Cheney's wife.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney, remember
Wife
Dick
or
Cheney?
daughter?
Huh?
Wife or daughter?
Dude, I don't
I'm pretty sure that's his wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think people actually remember who Dick Cheney is.
I
I think a lot of people in the
I
community.
kept getting them mixed up, wife or daughter, but I think that was because I was thinking of Meghan McCain, because there's always Meghan McCain.
Right.
Yeah. I was just getting the two mixed up, but yeah, Liz Cheney, dude.
They're basically the same.
Dick Cheney, like the guy who like did all the 9/11s on everybody and shit.
Okay,
Like,
his Dick Cheney's wife is Lynn Cheney. Their daughter is Liz.
oh, that is their daughter?
Yes.
Oh,
okay,
shit,
okay.
dude,
See?
I didn't know.
See? All right, that's what I thought.
Wow, they must be old as
I guess
fuck. She's 58. Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, that makes. I mean, George W. Bush is pretty old now, so my bad.
So
Allegedly his wife. Okay, how about that?
Dick Cheney. No, it's his daughter. What do you mean allegedly his wife? It's his daughter. Dick Cheney.
Okay,
if you don't remember, was the guy who
hold on,
shot.
if Hillary Clinton's daughter suddenly was endorsing Trump, that's how retarded this sounds right here. Anyways, all right,
Hillary Clinton's daughter
endorse Trump. Like you've got Dick Cheney's daughter endorsing Kamala Harris.
Right.
What doesn't that show? This just shows you, like, anyways.
But I know how people would perceive that. They'd be like, See, she figured it
Also,
out.
this
It was
picture
so
in front,
bad she turned to
this child here, is that a boy or a girl?
You can't
How
tell.
do you know?
That literally could be a black boy.
It says her pronouns somewhere on here.
Okay.
All right, this is Kamala Harris saying
That's
she
so
was going to
funny.
legalize recreational marijuana.
Dude,
When your assignments do. Look, and look who's posting it. Who's posting this?
Mega Pokemon
Okay.
333.
But that's so fun.
That's
For anyone
Liz
who can't
Cheney's
see-
alt account, okay?
For anyone who can't read it or is just listening, it says when your assignment due in 30 minutes.
And it says,
She's
"I
like,
will
all right,
legalize-"
black, so we're gonna legalize marijuana. Don't worry. It's like you were putting them all in prison for it like 10 years ago.
Then when we were looking at the projections for the election,
I love that one. Projected to be a lesbian with 90% in. 97%. Totally, dude. He just like put it all on the line.
oh, he was
He just
Elon Musk is like, dude, I'm gonna risk everything. Mark Cuban's like, I'm gonna put on some glasses. Let's say a bunch of retarded shit.
definitely. Oh, the FBI was stunned and shell shocked over Trump re-election. How does the FBI?
That's what
not
I was
know?
saying. Yeah, like, wait, so they didn't. What does that tell you? If they
Like this
didn't
is
know,
this
what was
is your
gonna happen?
job. This is your freaking job. You're supposed to know shit. All right, okay. Here's Biden's speech. We're not gonna play the whole thing.
Play a little
Look at
bit, yeah.
his-
Skip
look at his
around.
beautiful smile.
Just play some of the audio and all that business. Can't hear it.
Oh, you can't? Oh,
No,
all right. Well,
I have to redo it.
No. I think I got it.
For over 200 years,
You hear it now?
America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice
Hang
President.
on. Didn't
Why does it say
literally a
no
week
mention
ago-
of Kamala? He's literally about to talk about Kamala.
Yeah.
Like, how did they put no mention of Kamala?
Yeah, he
It's-
said
he's
vice
literally
president.
saying,
Yeah,
okay,
but literally a week earlier, wasn't he just calling Trump supporters garbage?
yes, yes, he was.
well, right, okay, so remember the whole fine people thing? And he said, like, you can go back and find so many clips of him being like, this guy doesn't deserve,
Right,
to be on that,
right.
to
And
blah
then
blah
he
blah,
just
and like
so casually, just like that's what I'm saying.
that's the cognitive dissonance part. It's like, okay, hold on. If he actually was Hitler, I would be more like, what is it? Like, if you actually were saying he's Hitler, you should be like going after him with the military right now and be like, we're not letting him get in power. Like, otherwise you were lying the whole time. So but now the real effect is a bunch of dumbass people in America who are not educated, low vocabulary people are like freaking out because they literally think Hitler's coming.
Yeah.
And then the Democrat Party is just like, well, anyways, we got to play fair. And, it's a contest. And if you vote, you win. And most people want him. So it's just what it is. And it's like, you terrorized all these
Yes.
people for 4 fucking years that this Hitler was going to be here. And now you're just like, yeah, well, anyways, guys, so you win some, you lose some. And it's like,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. It's still all a game, isn't it? Like, they're doing that. And see, I think this maybe indicates that they're going to do some fuckery from now till January 6th. It seems a little too. I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm not. I'm just saying, it does seem a little odd and suspicious that
I
they're
get what you're
being.
saying. I get what you're saying because they're just like, oh, okay.
Why aren't they
see,
just ramping
we are
it up?
peacefully transitioning.
Yeah.
And so wait a minute,
We're going to do
found
everything
something.
we can. And and then probably they're going to do some shit. And Biden's going to be like, I want it to be peaceful, but what can I do?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Check this out. This one I thought was hilarious as well.
I don't understand. Everyone acts like Biden's such a pedophile, but he wasn't on the Epstein list.
Overperforming 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
This is a map, just for context. This is a map of where Kamala outperformed Biden, right? And they were doing this live, and Jake Tapper goes, "Holy smokes! Literally nothing. Not a single county where she outperformed Biden, right?"
It says by 3% or more, but then he switched the view to show counties that outperformed by 3% or more. Wait.
Harris outperformed in 0 states by 3% or more. But a moment later, he switched the view to show counties that outperformed by 3% or more, which showed that. So this is apparently states. She did not perform in
counties yet,
but
okay.
Counties. Yeah, she. Performed,
okay, fine.
Yeah. So
like
58 counties in the whole U.S.
You can maybe zoom
into
a neighborhood.
Hold on. By the way, 58 counties in the entire U.S. There are 50 states in the entire U.S. And in each state, there's got to be at least 25 counties or something like that, right?
Oh, hundreds probably.
Okay, even more.
If not more. Yeah, I'm more. Hundreds. Yeah, I don't know.
And
dozens? I don't know. I don't know what the number would be, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. This
Lots.
is great. So no ID, no voter ID needed, no voter ID needed. I wonder why she keeps winning all these no voter ID. I wonder why Democrats always push for no voter ID. The only thing that I see that was voter ID required that she won, apparently, was Rhode Island, it looks like, and New Hampshire, according to this map.
Yeah.
How can you tell where Rhode Island and New Hampshire are?
This is Rhode Island right here. This is New Hampshire right here.
How do you tell?
What do you mean? How do you tell?
Okay,
that whole side of the country, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like where fucking liberals live.
Rhode Island's so easy. It's the tiniest one.
No, you see Massachusetts. It's right above Massachusetts and right below Massachusetts.
Massachusetts looks like a gun.
This is why your state is blue, Mitch. Because you know where Rhode Island is on a map.
It's in my region.
I know Texas.
I used to live in Massachusetts.
I know Texas. I know Louisiana.
Do you know Florida?
I probably couldn't tell you Missouri versus that one below it.
Arkansas.
I literally drive to all these places.
It's literally bordering your state. Yeah, I don't know that state. It's not Texas. Yeah, who cares? Oh man.
Yeah. Dude, did you watch that one I sent you from The Onion?
Yeah, dude, it got me for a second.
That was funny. I showed it to Max. He was cracking up the whole time. It was so funny.
I did not see this.
I was like, and then we zoom in.
Can we play it? Can we play it?
Yeah,
play it. I was like,
let's just play it. It's so funny.
What else is this? Let me see if I can find it.
It's so funny.
Let me see if I can find it. In the meantime, oh man.
I'll talk while you do that.
Yeah.
One of the cool things is like yeah, I don't know.
I found it. Here we go.
Yeah, you'll love this.
This is what Cam wants me to share with you guys. Hang on. Boom.
Really interesting trends in a lot of key battleground states. Let's start with Pennsylvania with its coveted 19 electoral votes. And I want to focus for a moment on Erie County up here. This is a crucial swing county. It goes Trump in 2016, narrowly back to Biden in 2020. Now I want to go in even further than that. This right here, this is Mill Creek Township, District 2. Polls are showing momentum toward Harris in areas like this. But to really understand what's going on, let's go even closer, zoom in a little bit more. Right here. This is
I was like, how did they get this?
Hilltop Lane. Now I want to take us inside the bedroom here. Bear with me. There we go. So this is Nick Camden, 37-year-old registered independent. He goes Hillary in 2016, Trump in 2020. Which way is he going to go in 2024? Really hard to say at this point. It's pretty early, but we know it's going to be close.
And Jason, what are you seeing inside this person that might indicate movement one way or another?
So this is just a very ordinary Rust Belt body, small town values, predominantly white. It's got the lungs, it's got the vascular system, the heart, but I actually want to show you what's in here. This is the neocortex and the amygdala. These are areas areas of the brain responsible for regulating emotion and memory. So let's play out a couple of scenarios here. If, for example, this man remembers his grandmother and the time she took him to an Al Gore rally in 1999, feels good about that, that's a win for the Democrats. On the other hand, take a look at this. This is the area of the brain that's associated with social interaction in groups, and we've seen it light up when Nick goes out for beers with his Trump-supporting coworkers. So we're looking at really a thin margin here. I want to show you something, actually. Let's come back out. Let's go past the rib cage, past the lungs, past the heart, past the tumor. Healthcare going to be a really big issue in this election, obviously. Past the DNA to what we're calling the source, the origin of life, existence itself, where all of humanity's answers can be found.
And can we zoom in further than that?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm scared. But what we can do is we can actually zoom out here, out of the DNA, out of Nick Camden, out of Erie, Pennsylvania, out of the solar system to the edges of our cosmos, where we see ultimately how meaningless this whole race really is and how insignificant all of our tiny little lives really are.
That is a big map. Thank you, Jason. Coming up next, the Trump campaign is in full.
Actually, it's funny that point at the end is really interesting. That point of like how insignificant our lives are.
Yeah.
Because it's playing on the idea that like we've all been brainwashed with through like our education system, that like it's all just like random stuff, right? I bought this book. It's a compilation of all of Chris Langan's papers that he's written, right? And in there he has this one called Cheating the Millennium. Dude, you would love it, Drake. It's like he published it in like 2004.
Okay.
And it's basically, I mean, what it is it's a paper he wrote explaining and breaking down like the details of neo-Darwinianism. Yes. Neo-Darwinianism and intelligent design. Not so much like arguing both sides of it, but more like showing what are their limitations in themselves and what are the misconceptions, and then showing how they actually are embedded within each other. Right. And showing, and it's really cool because he explains how the problem with the neo-Darwinianism, it's not so much a problem with it itself, it's a problem with the paradigm that it's a part of, which is everything being reduced to like even quantum mechanics is based on the idea that it's all just randomness, right? So it's just like random probabilities. And he's saying, so that explains everything at all higher levels. Is it all just comes down to randomness?
Right.
And it's like, what about meaning and purpose? So he's like saying that, so what the intelligent design thing is about more looking at the top down of how at the highest level, the intelligence point, not just like IQ and so forth, but like an intelligence, an awareness with purpose directing things at the bottom. So it's not to say that you're discounting this part, but he's like bringing them together. And dude, it's just so interesting because I'm like, dude, we were looking at all this, remember like a little while back, looking at the intelligent design and all of that. Like he was writing this shit back in 2004.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He could see all these points. And it just shows like why we have this need for God, because again, it's like, okay, the only reason we have a need for God is because from a young age, someone didn't support us to understand purpose and like top down of reality. They only supported us to understand the bottom up, which is like all meaningless randomness, nothing matters.
Yeah.
Right. And they didn't give us both, but they also didn't give us enough reasoning ability and high vocabulary to not misunderstand the point of the top down, to like externalize it outside of ourselves. Because if you think about it, like even if there is a God who has a plan for everything, doesn't that just ultimately mean you're meaningless?
Okay, I was gonna say even if there is a
because
God,
you're not equal to that highest power.
Sure.
So you're not really in direction of everything. You're just playing your part in its plan.
But what I was gonna say is, even if there is a God who has a plan, doesn't that mean like you should like you're part of carrying out that plan? Like, isn't that like we would all be like employees in a company?
That's
basically.
what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
It's like you're just a thing in the plan. It's not you with your purpose and your awareness deciding what is the plan.
Okay, sure, but you're saying it kind of differently than what I'm saying it, because you're saying it like that's meaningless versus I'm saying like the company wouldn't be able to carry out its functions without those employees, you know? Like like
But that's true also with what I'm saying.
say again.
That's also true if there is no God.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the plan doesn't happen if we don't do it.
Right, right,
It's just a question of whose plan is it?
right.
What if the employees don't agree?
Well then
You
somebody
see,
needs to
it's
be
just like
fired.
a whistleblower or something, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but then it's like there has to be this point where that whoever's like the board of directors of the company must you got to make know that they fucking are actually doing what's best for the employees.
Yeah.
But then what happens when they start implementing woke bullshit policies? That's just about all this other stuff, right? So it's like you have to get rid of all authority, all authority outside of ourselves. What I mean, all leaders outside of ourselves. And dude, honestly, looking at all this election stuff, again, like we already saw the problem in 2020. And then after that, we did a lot of our podcasts, some of our podcasts talking about like, hey, this is the problem is we're putting Trump as like the savior.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not saying when I'm saying we, let's not, when I say us, I'm talking about everybody collectively. Let's not now go, oh, he's the savior actually again. That's
Right.
not what's happening. We're not doing that. But you can look at the direction of things. And what I see is like, dude, this is amazing. Like, this is actually really good. Now, is it possible the deep state swamp creatures get in there and all, yeah, all that shit's gonna happen. Like that's why you can't be like, it can be amazing and good, but it also isn't the solution.
I mean, look at what's going on with what was it? Okay, all right, that's it. They're saying already, like, oh, uh, legacy media is dead. Meanwhile, legacy media is coming out with articles of like, Trump is a fascist, and now we really like democracy is dead, and like they're still pushing their shit basically, right? I wanted to share this because
Well, hold on, let me just finish my point, and then we'll
Okay,
show this.
go
It's
ahead.
not much. It's just the point of, regardless of the details of what happens, the sentiment that Trump winning and his people like Elon, Tulsi, RFK, even like Ron Paul seems to be getting in there now. It's crazy, right? The sentiment of that is, dude, let's change the system.
Yeah,
That's not what they're going to do per se, but that is sort of like the sentiment that's growing even more, right? It's like, hey, this is fucked. We need to dismantle it, change it, whatever, right? So the problem is they're still playing in a very limited sense of like what reality is, what human beings are, it's still playing in that top down place, because even the ideas of how they want to change the education system, it just shows like it's a perfect platform though for us to go and support people, right?
Mhm.
But it is showing that there's even more of a growing understanding of like, hey guys, this system is fucked. Like people are now out there floating like no income tax, get rid of the Federal Reserve. That was out there before, but now it's like you're seeing it being like getting right up to the top now. Like
Right,
that's
right.
crazy. Like that,
Yeah.
not crazy, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's not what we expected before at all.
Like, okay, actually think about the point. Can Trump do it by himself? Right?
Of course not.
Obviously not, right? So that means he's going to need help, which means like, well, it's going to require all of us to be on board with everything that they're doing. Perfect example. I saw somebody on Facebook that was like, because RFK Jr. was like, uh, January 20th, Trump's going to send out like a memorandum or something like that to stop putting fluoride in the water. Stop, putting fluoride. And like my raver friends from, back in those days, they're like, yeah, right? Like, we're going to stop putting fluoride in the water. Awesome. Meanwhile, you got people on, Facebook that are like, how do I get the fluoride back in my water?
Yeah, how do you add fluoride to the water?
That's literally what they're trying to do.
I'm
I'm like,
putting too many drops.
How, like, but there's people out there that believe that everything that the government did up until this point was for their benefit. Like, oh, that was for
Even though there's been exposed all the points where they've done fucked shit.
right.
It's like, but it's not happening right now.
But
It's
no,
like, well, when
no,
do you think they started fluoridating the water? A long fucking time ago.
but that's good for me. Like, what would happen if I didn't have fluoride in my water? I'd have cavities all over the place. Like,
It's like, just brush your teeth.
just brush your fucking teeth. Go buy some fluoridated toothpaste.
If you really
that's
want to,
really
yeah.
absurd.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, like, come on.
Just eat the
Yeah.
toothpaste.
Yeah, just eat your toothpaste. Don't you buy toothpaste?
Even if your concern is fluoridation on your teeth, why would you drink it?
It doesn't make any sense.
Do you drink your toothpaste? Do you
Well,
like
no,
swallow
no.
your toothpaste?
I'm concerned about my children because they don't brush their teeth so well. So if I get it in their bodies, then somehow...
That explains the meme where the daughter's like, Dad, who are you voting for? And he's like, for you. To make sure you have fucking
Voting for that
fluoride.
fluoride in your
Meanwhile,
water,
they
baby.
totally dismissed the whole "Make America Healthy Again" thing.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
100%.
like the
They couldn't-
actual
they couldn't
fucking
compete with
problem,
that.
which is
They-
like
they couldn't compete with that.
obesity.
You saw what they tried to do, Mitch, for competing with Make America Healthy. It was that interview that they did on CNN where they like basically was like an RFK is a conspiracy theorist and all that. Like that was their
Do you have that clip of RFK on like News Nation or whatever?
yeah. No, not News Nation. The way he's talking about how China's buying
religion.
up all the land.
No. Where
No.
they're like, let me I'll look it up real quick.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to share this. This is basically literally election night or the next the next day. Election night, 12:30 in the morning. Reddit's like, I'm starting to think Reddit might be an echo chamber that is completely disconnected from the majority of this country. Like, no fucking shit.
Right.
No fucking shit. Like, we knew this. Okay, we were talking about this with the dead internet theory, where it's like, yeah, 50% of that is bots. But we knew this before that, even where we were talking about like when you go on Reddit, it's like there's only certain voices that are only certain sentiments that are like upvoted, and everything else is like, and you read it and you're thinking, you're hearing from other people, from other individuals. Meanwhile, it's been shown many times that one person will go on there. In fact, this is what the CEOs and people who were running Reddit were doing, is they would create dozens of accounts and just comment on their own shit to make it seem like there was a consensus there. And people, and that's how people operate. They're like, oh, they say yes, they say yes, they say yes. Okay, all right, we're going along with that. It's like
the voting places where there's no voter ID. That's like what Reddit is.
Yeah,
So it can
right.
just be any account.
Exactly.
Hey, the consensus point, isn't that the 4 to 5 dentists agree? That's all that is.
Yeah, exactly.
The fucking Bernays thing. I did a little test. Like, it's interesting if you go on ChatGPT and you ask it about Bernard and Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, it's without trying to influence what it's going to give you. It's genuinely, it's generally pretty positive, actually.
Because
I did it on Grok. But I did it on Grok, and it was like, oh, interesting mixed bag there. Right. And it really didn't talk much. It didn't really say much about the real point of what Bernard was saying. It was all, and it kind of did a little bit, but then it was also saying points about like, you know, former members have alleged psychological abuse, and just, it was like, there wasn't like a lot of crazy stuff, but it was like, oh, and they shaved their heads. And, you know, so like all cults, it devolved into something, you know, like kind of a thing. It was more
like
picking up on that.
Like it
point.
took from like the Vice article, and
that's what I'm saying.
Like that,
and so it's like, what was my point with that? It's just like, there's still places where you could just go and talk shit and you're not accountable, and that actually influences the AI.
Yeah.
And even that point about, and I was thinking about when they were saying like psychological abuse, I'm like, go to school,
right?
Go to the fucking military, go to any major corporation, go have an HR meeting. Go what was I gonna say, like, just go be a normal person in this world. Like, the system, go watch CNN. Is that not like that point we were talking about earlier where like they said he was Hitler, and then now they're like, oh well, you know, he won and that's just what it is. And I'm like, that was psychological abuse. If someone is telling you to be self-honest and quit making fucking excuses and choosing self-interest only, that's not psychological abuse. That's common fucking sense.
Right.
But people who don't want to change and want to continue to support a system of abuse will claim that by you challenging them, you're the abuser. And that's also kind of the phenomenon of Trump and Kennedy, is like they're claiming that that's the person that's bad, Right?
Right.
Check this out. I want to play this one real quick.
Go ahead.
I found that thing I was talking about.
I'm curious to see
Let me
that
close
thing
all my
that-
let me close all my tranny porn tabs. Here you go. All right, should I tap my eyes? Hold on. Yeah, I did. Oops.
Very first question from our audience. It's Dr. Tariq Butt, who specializes
I would ask you one thing on what issue?
on childhood vaccines
What about them?
and whether they ever cause autism or damage kids. They all say these vaccines have saved
Never, they
millions of
never
lives.
damage kids.
I don't think anybody has said they never have. There might be a child here, but overall, all those organizations say vaccines are safe and have saved millions and millions of lives. But let's get to our audience question from Dr.
I don't know if this is the one, but it's probably good.
evening. Eradication of chickenpox and polio from the US and many parts of the world is a direct result of regular vaccines. Measles, mumps, rubella, and many diseases are preventable, and there's little to no evidence
pause
of
it?
these diseases in vaccinated population.
Yeah.
I just like looking at RFK's face.
Yeah,
He's like, this guy's a
The vaccine
fucking
stance is
idiot.
dangerous to the health and well-being of millions.
He's like, I know what you're doing.
Medical experts are deeply concerned about your message. How can we help you to come to the side of science?
So
Wait.
what was the question? How can you help me come to my senses?
No.
No.
Side of science.
You are a very smart person.
Okay, so, I think most people don't know what my stance is on vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine. And I've said that hundreds and hundreds of times, but it doesn't matter. Because that is a way of silencing me. Using that pejorative to describe me is a way of silencing or marginalizing me.
I know.
My position on vaccines, I think, I think
I'm gonna pause it because
all
Katie
virtually
sent me
every
the right
American would
one.
agree.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's the same. I think I was just, yeah, anyways.
You're a lawyer and an activist. You're not a doctor or a scientist.
Listen, we live in a democracy. We don't have a priesthood here. We don't have high priests who are telling us we're in charge of our own lives. And Americans need to do their own research. And, listen, people say trust the experts. That became a mantra during COVID. I brought over 500 cases, and almost all of them involved a scientific controversy. My job is to read science, to learn it, and to be able to read it critically. And every case I've ever brought, there's an expert on that side and an expert on this side. When we brought the Monsanto case, there were 3 experts from Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. And we had 3 experts from Harvard, Stanford, Yale, and they were saying exactly the opposite thing. Saying trust the experts to me makes no sense at all. Trusting the experts is a function of religion and totalitarianism. It is not a function of democracy. In democracy, we question everybody.
We have a lot of questions I want to get to, but before we do, I want to direct our viewers to our website to go deeper on the science of vaccines, as well as Mr. Kennedy's positions on everything from immigration to foreign policy. We have resources available for you online and encourage you to check them out at newsnationnow.com.
Shut up, you stupid bitch. All right. Oh, I thought I was muted. But
You're
yeah,
awesome.
it's like, who funds News Nation? I wonder.
Right.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like, give me a
some
fucking break.
pharmaceutical-
But I like what he said. Like, that's a function of religion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe we should question religion, guys.
Ooh.
Who's
There we go.
Okay, guys, who is the number one expert of all reality that we should trust?
God.
So maybe we should question that too.
Damn.
We're a democracy, right? Reality is a democracy. I don't care if there is a God. I still have the right to question it.
Yeah, right. Like.
I don't like your fucking plan. It's like Joe Biden. Okay, you're the president, but you work for me. I don't work for you. I get to fucking question you.
Well, there's an expert on this side and an expert on that side, and I have my experts.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
Yeah.
God doesn't get to fucking, like, everyone believes God, we work for God. Like, we're the slaves of God. In reality, God should work for us. God should work to our benefit. So if you think about it from that perspective, and let's switch the word God to life, isn't that really the actual thing? Is like life is working for us, through us, with us, not we're the slaves to reality.
Right.
Because
That's
when
what
we
Paul did
participate
there.
in ourselves being slaves, then we enslave everything. It's like instead of everything working in accordance with everything, reality actually is here to serve us. Think about it for a moment. Get God out of the picture. How do you exist right now?
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking-
you hear me out. This is why I wish fucking people would use their techno tutor. First, I wish they would get it. Second, I wish they would use it. And they would become really fucking smart. And then they could read things like Chris Langan. Because one of the really cool points he makes is like, and I know this is my Chris Langan hour, okay, for a moment. He says the way we look at theories of reality, right? Like, example would be like string theory, right? String theory is kind of the only theory we have that we're all aware of that's trying to explain the fundamental nature of reality. I mean, I know we have quantum mechanics and all these other things, but they're not like unified. They're not like all one theory. So string theory is kind of like an attempt to have a theory that explains how everything works. But let me ask you a question. What does string theory explain? I'm not saying what's the content of it, but like, what is it, like from your perspective, Drake, like what is it attempting to explain?
Basically, like, what is string theory attempting to explain?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like what's the context of it is what I'm saying, not like the details. Because I know most people don't know the details.
I don't know. I just know, like, with string theory, all I know about it really is like they talk about quirks and the different directions of like.
But isn't it? It's trying to explain how like particles interact.
Yeah, like basically like how there's electrons that they're not actually not even really physical things. They're just vibrations that are really close together, and like they spin this way, they spin that way, and it's like
Sure. But also, okay, right. So all those theories, the ones you learned in school, string theory, whatever, and there's other ones. There's like M theory, which anyways. So, but the point is, they're all just trying to explain how physical particles, essentially, whether you call them particles or not, interact to produce effects like electricity, gravity, magnetism, so forth, right? But do they explain how you think?
No.
Now, maybe they could explain potentially the mechanics of how a thought physically occurs, but does it explain how you have awareness, like how you have relationships, how you make decisions, unless you just see it's a big fucking random thing. Like, let's just not be stupid. How do they explain like the higher level aspects of reality of like, how do you, like, I know love is a stupid word, but like, like love, like caring about things, like, you know what I mean? Making a decision to like sacrifice yourself to like save somebody, like none of that level of reality is explained by our quote physical theories of reality.
Yeah.
And Chris Langan, one of his points is like, that's a problem. That means they're not really theories of reality, because they're theories of a certain, it'd be like saying like, guys, I know how to explain everything and everything that exists and everything you experience, everything. And then I start talking about how you like mix concrete. As if somehow everything you love, everything is just like, it's just like it's an expression of concrete being mixed. You're like, no, that doesn't make sense actually, because you're actually reducing everything. And it might have some explanatory power in a certain context, but it's not the whole picture. And so I'm getting to a point here, which is like, okay, scientists, now whether they're correct or not, maybe their theory isn't absolutely correct, but let's just assume some of them are correct. They can explain how particles interact. Okay. But they can't explain why particles exist. And not only that, it'd be like if you look at your computer screen, right? What a scientist is looking at is just all the information that's being displayed on the computer screen.
Oh.
But all of that, so imagine reality is like what you see on the computer screen. Okay. Doesn't that presume the existence of a computer?
Yeah.
And if everything that you know and understand and can observe and test and look at and be aware of is only the stuff that's being displayed on the computer screen, do you see how you can't see the computer? So you don't know anything about the computer. but you've actually already ruled out the possibility of the computer because you're like, nope, the only thing that exists is what I'm seeing on the computer screen. But for you to be able to see it, there has to be a computer. You know what I'm trying to say? In reality, for us to be here and experience reality and be in it and process it and interact with it, there has to be something that's making that possible.
Yeah.
This is what Chris Langan proves. Like, if you can develop your vocabulary enough to read him and understand him, he shows like it's not even like it's an idea. Like, he proves this. I mean, it's actually common sense, right? Imagine if I told you, look at this floating computer screen information. You'd be like, well, what's displaying it? Like, what's the process? There has to be more to it than just what's on the screen. And so what science is seeing is only what's on the screen of reality. That's why, go back to school for a moment, okay? The two scientists that influenced everything you learned in school was Rene Descartes and Isaac Newton. Okay, what did Rene Descartes? What was his major contribution?
I think, therefore I am.
He's actually not that. That's what everybody knows. But what's his actual major contribution that everyone knows without knowing they know it?
The mind and the body are separate?
No. Yes, but that's not the point I'm looking at. No, it's like something you learned in school, like part of your curriculum.
I think, therefore I am.
Nope, you didn't learn that in school. That wasn't part of your curriculum. Maybe you heard it in school, but I'm saying that wasn't like, it's not part of the curriculum. Oh, in the third grade, you learn.
Yeah, no, what I learned in school. What did I learn?
I don't know.
You learned it probably in the very, very beginning, not like day one, but like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. Algebra? Is the XY coordinate plane.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the platonic solids, but I don't. That's not him.
No,
that's Plato.
Yeah, but do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, Rene Descartes developed the idea of the XY coordinate plane.
Okay.
Newton, all of his theories, when you think about it, when you go back to physics class, right? You learned about vectors, right?
So you're talking about Cartesian maps. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think about physics. You can't do physics without vectors, forces, vectors, and so forth, right? Which are all mapped to the coordinate plane. Like, all makes it all possible. The way we think about physical reality is in terms of vectors, like physics. But that's actually just a set of information, and that set of information only exists on a coordinate plane.
Yeah. So
we actually think that all of physical reality exists on a coordinate plane. This is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
well, that's what I'm trying to say is like you actually own the reality that you are aware of in terms of how you think it exists only exists. It's just the computer screen. There has to be more. Like, for example, a coordinate plane only exists on a piece of paper. The piece of paper has to exist. Or the computer screen, or you know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be something else there. And so what Chris Langan is trying to say is like, for reality to exist, there has to be the contents, which is like what's on the computer screen. There has to be something that processes the information, which is the computer. And then there has to be the processing itself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No one is considering the actual bigger context of everything. So these scientists that we think are like, they know everything, they actually have to rule out the other part. So it's like fascinating because we have this divide within ourselves of like, you said the mind body thing, right, Mitch? Mm-hmm. If you translate that, what it actually is the physical reality, which is like what's on the computer screen, like the physical particles and stuff, what we observe. And the mind part would be like the higher aspect of reality, the metaphysical aspect of reality, the life part, the part that exists beyond death, the part that we call it God, all kinds of different things. We have all these different interpretations of what that could be. But in our world, don't we have a division between those two? We're like, no, they can't. There's like really no crossover between them. Like either you're religious and you believe in faith and God and all this stuff, or you're a scientist, which by default, you have to rule out everything that's not, quote, physical. But even what science considers physical can't be the whole picture. That'd be like, yes, I have a computer screen and there's information being displayed, but come on, there can't be a computer. And you're like, there's no computer screen without a computer. So by default, I've ruled out part of the thing that makes what's on the screen possible. Okay. And what Chris Lang is explaining is reality is a self-processing computer in a way. The computer and the reality, they're all one thing, and there's information, and the computer processes the information on its screen. And when it processes it, that's part of our decision-making process. It then puts out a new display. And that's what reality is. It's a self-generating like point. So there is no God authority thing that's like the one in charge, because even for that to exist, you have to imagine only the stuff on the computer screen. You see what I mean? You have to imagine you're just one of the contents of the computer screen. And then there's like the God, which is a separate point. But then there's no way to
yeah, it's all the computer.
It's all one thing.
Updating in real time. It's not set in stone.
It's not right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's gonna like the likelihood of a point being here and then suddenly being over here is very low. But that's only because you can't process that it could do that. And like, I'll just give another example. He makes this point of like, if I'm going to move my cup from here to there, okay, right? I'm going to move it from here to there. He said, the cup, the point where I'm about to move my cup, which is right there, doesn't exist. It doesn't exist right now. And you're thinking that doesn't make any sense. It's there. But my cup being here is just something that exists in the future because it's a new state. It's like the cup right now is here. That information is processed. It's now processed to be there. It's now processed to be there. It's now processed to be there. It's not actually moving. It's a new, just like on your computer.
Reality.
Like my hand is not moving on the screen. It's just
it's
display.
Okay, so would you say it's a new reality every moment, or is it the same reality just in a different?
But you see, you think of it all as a whole. There is no new or old reality. It's all just the same reality, eternally, always. Yes.
So, okay, now you talk about the refresh rate. What determines the refresh rate, and can you speed it up or slow it down, or is it a constant?
I don't know that. I think it's the speed of light, probably, or something like that. I don't know. Like, I don't know that. And even the idea of a refresh rate, like, this is why, for example, well, here's the whole point I'm trying to get at. Like, this totally lines up with Destiny.
You're right.
Right. And even if there's maybe some points that don't, which I haven't found, it's kind of not the point. The point I'm trying to make is when you have a very high vocabulary, it's like you can see all of reality all together. And it's not like some mystical experience you have. It's just it's common sense. I don't have to die and come back to see the common sense of all reality being unified and how all this can work. It's like a common sense point. But we're so brainwashed by our education, which is not just school, it's everything we were taught. A lot of education doesn't even have to be in the school. Like you guys both said, I think therefore I am. But did you ever read Descartes?
No.
Never did.
So how do you know that? That wasn't explicitly taught as part of your curriculum, but like a lot of these things and a lot of our worldview, look, I think therefore I am.
I think that was in my curriculum, actually. Just
it may have been at some level, right?
That phrase.
But yeah. Like, let's think about that for a second. Because you think, that's why you exist.
I definitely, it was in my psychology class, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe like philosophy class.
But does it make sense logically?
I think, so I must exist.
No.
If I'm able to think. That's what he was saying, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the act of thinking,
then wait, well, okay, but that's a what do you call that?
I understand, but let's just look at it, the alternative.
But mathematically, that is like
so what does it mean for something to exist because it thinks, though?
Because it thinks, then it's like if it thinks, then it must exist. Yeah.
But what does it mean for it to exist?
Okay,
just as a thinking machine.
Yeah.
Like, okay, a computer processes information, therefore it must exist. Sure.
Yeah.
But what does that tell you about the nature of the thing itself?
Nothing.
It doesn't really tell you anything. So what that ends up doing is it puts this extreme sense of importance on thought itself. But consider this. A relative, right? Katie was talking to on the phone, quote, close relative, right? Was like, well, I bet you're happy with the election. She was like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool actually. Now we can, but now we have to get to work, right? Like, it's not like suddenly anything really fundamentally changes. They're like, well, I just hope we don't turn into a fascist dictatorship and all this stuff. And I was like,
We already are.
really? But you know what I mean? Like, that person's thinking,
Uh-huh.
therefore they exist, right?
I mean, they already existed. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, what are they existing as? Is that their thoughts?
No.
So it's like they've just, I'm not trying to argue with the logic. I know what your point was, but I'm just saying, like, what are you existing as? You're not existing as, no, I direct reality.
Right.
You're existing as, I'm just like a computer. I just process information. I just think, and that's it.
I see what you're saying. So it's
yeah.
it's not okay. Yeah, you're there, but like, is it actually you there? Is it actually you? Like you
Right.
think, okay, but that's not you thinking even.
It's not you thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can have thoughts, but they're just pre-programmed.
Right.
And so I guess the point I'm just trying to get at is this: the way we've been brainwashed through our entire education is to think that we actually are insignificant in terms of reality, instead of realizing that we are each equally God, and we are generating reality, and we are participating in it, and we are causing it to be what it is. And like, it's like, now if you go to it for a moment, it's not what's on the computer screen per se that matters. It's what's in the hard drive. That's your resonance. That's like your actual programming. That's what's causing, because you're thinking, okay, I'm going to move this point there. That has less of it has definitely an influence, but it doesn't have that much of a counter influence on what's really in there deep down. It's like so limited what you can do on the screen if you don't change the part underneath.
You brought up 2 points that I wanted to hit on. So one was like from a previous meeting that we did. You brought up this point of like how it's like difficult. I'm gonna say difficult. I don't remember exactly the word that you used, but like difficult for people who are not a part of this group to recognize that their thoughts are not them, right? Like that, like how we're able to go, wait a minute, like just because I feel this way doesn't make it me, doesn't make it valid, doesn't make it even something that I would choose, actually. It's just a feeling that I'm experiencing right now. And they're not able to investigate those things, right? And the other thing that I wanted to bring up was how you were saying earlier, like the difference of like, okay, well, you're an employee at a job, and if not all the employees work well together or are on the same page, have the same vision, then like, what are you actually going to accomplish? And it's the same thing of like the cells in your body. It's like one cell in the body could be like, well, I am just a lowly cell, and I don't know what Drake has, in store for us. And it's like the vision of Drake. It's like, actually, what makes me, like what makes me choose a vision or whatever. It's like, it's all the cells working together. It's like the vision of not just like, because it's not, and we've talked about this before, like it's not just coming from my brain. Maybe there's a lot of processes. There is a lot of processes that are stored, or operations rather, that are stored within the brain. And and so if the brain is removed from somebody's body, obviously that body's not going to be able to operate effectively. But if the heart is removed, that body's not going to be able to operate effectively. There's a lot of operations that are stored there. But what I'm saying is, it's not just how these, like the transhumanist Silicon Valley types, that they're thinking, I will upload my brainstem. This is in fall, right? There was this idea that they were saying about they're going to upload so if you just freeze their brainstem and their brains,
all the information's right there.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to upload them into something, and they'll be able to live forever, or rehydrate the body. I don't know, whatever.
There's more information in a cell of your probably your fingertip.
Yeah.
Than all the information they were trying to access.
Right.
Like they were looking at the neural architecture or something, right? But it's just one cell of your body that it probably has all the information that you need right there.
Right. And so I'm bringing up that point because it's like the way that we're taught, it is this very top-down approach of how the human works. Oh, it's just all here in your brain. It's all, you're here. somehow, right? And so it's like that's God essentially. It's like the brain is God,
Right.
and so there's this idea that like, well, that's how my body operates, so then that must be how the universe operates. But there's a fundamental misunderstanding of how the body operates actually, because like you're saying, it's like, okay, why is it that the bacteria in your gut influences what you'll eat, like what you have a craving for?
Yeah.
Like if your bacteria is like, you've got a lot of,
It's
let's
like,
say,
no, it's me,
candida.
my brain deciding. It's like,
No, like, but you feel
not
it,
really
like,
much that it
I've
is
got a
deciding.
craving for something sweet. I've got a craving for some cake. I've got a craving for, whatever it is. You feel it as if it's like you think you're deciding that, but that's literally cells that aren't even necessarily a part of your body, but they are habitating this area with the rest of your cells. That is causing that decision. That's causing that process. And so it's like there's a lot here actually that I see of, it's not just there's somebody sitting up here controlling things and like, okay, now move your arm and let's go. It's an entire network that is working together,
Right.
that is creating this, and that is how reality works actually.
Right. It's the same thing. There's no God that's sitting there doing stuff separately. It's all one thing. And it's hard because we're individuated within it. The other thing too is, I don't know how this is going to make total sense or not, but like if you go back to that 0 Point and Other Points article from Bernard, I think it was that one. He was kind of explaining the evolution of our reality that we have now and making this point about even for us to be able to interact with each other and see the same thing other people see and it be like a common reality took a lot of work. Like, I think the best example of this, like in literature, is Fall.
Oh,
When he started, when they put him in there, what was it like? It was like fucking static, basically.
right. Yeah.
And it took him a lot of time to populate it with like places and information. And over time, because of his programming and the other beings that came in there, it started to influence how it unfolded and what it meant and what was going on and so forth. Right. But if you bring in the Chris Langan point, it's like reality is like this, in a way, a computer. He calls it a self-simulation. So it's not like a physical computer per se, although it is physical because it's physically real, but it's like a simulation that's simulating itself, right? And yet even that aspect of reality is something that could have developed over time from something more simple. So I guess all I'm trying to get at is like, I was okay when I was reading that book. I went at one point to see if there was like an index of like when each article was written, like maybe the table of contents, and there was this note saying that a lot of these articles had been published in different places, like some peer-reviewed journals, and many of them in the high IQ magazines. And I was like, what are these high IQ magazines? Like, is there some like high IQ fucking society of people that are just talking about shit like no one else can fucking understand? Because I'm like, there's so few people that could process that Chris Langan thing. When you read it, I'll show you when you're here. If you look at the bibliography at the back, I don't know what they call it. You know what I mean? Basically, the bibliography. It's like
The works cited page.
The works cited, right? It's like Bertrand Russell, Chomsky, Descartes, Kant, like all these physicists, like Maxwell. It's like you're like, dude, this guy has fucking read
Yeah.
everything that's out there. It's not like he just has come up with some random theory and he's a crackpot. Like people, every time I had seen an interview with him in the past before I really started reading his stuff, I was like, oh, he's just some guy who thinks he's smart and he's got his crazy theories. But like, he tells this story in one of the interviews I watched that when he was 14 years old, okay, because he grew up like relatively poor and didn't.
He grew up on a farm, didn't he? We're talking about Chris Langan.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't grow up. I don't think he grew up on a farm per se, but he grew up, not with not a lot of money or anything. Went to college, but he was like basically, if he asked any questions that were beyond the capacity of the professor, they were just like, "Oh, you're not smart enough." It's kind of like we talk to a doctor and you ask some question that's beyond what they really actually understand. And they're like, well, you didn't go to medical schools, you don't understand. And you're like,
Right.
oh, you're fucking stupid, actually. Right. So he
Yeah.
asked this question. I'm trying to remember what the question was, but it had to do with the real manifold. And he and this point of I forget the exact point, but the real manifold is just what we talked about, the XY plane. But it'd be like XYZ.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the real manifold. The manifold, just like all the points. Okay. And he makes this point of like, how big are the points in the real manifold?
Right.
Like on an XY plane, how big is each point? They're infinitely small.
Right.
So how do you get from one to the other?
It's not possible.
You can't, because if you go from one to the other, that implies space between them. But
Right.
it's kind of like Zeno's paradox, right? And there's probably a lot more to his point than what I'm sharing. It's just like an example, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, but the way they present it, it's like it's cut into pieces. He calls it Dedekind cuts. And when he's using these terms, I'm like, nobody understands what the fuck he's talking about.
Right.
You would have to be kind of like me, where I may not know all the details, but like I pick up on things. So I'm like, Dedekind cuts. Yes, I remember hearing about that. But most people can't even do that. So they're just like, he's talking nonsense, gobbledygook. I don't know. Like a Richard Dawkins listening to him doesn't have the math vocabulary.
Right.
To understand.
Right.
So what they do, he calls it intellectual debt. So like when the evolutionary scientists, when there's a logical problem in what they're doing, they're like, well, that's just a problem in logic, and that has to be solved over here. But then over here in logic, there's problems, and they're like, well, that's a problem in, physics or something, and they have to. It's like he's like, they just keep kicking the intellectual debt down the road, like the logical hole, because that's not in our domain. And he says it all ends up coming back on the physicists. That's why his attack is mostly there. Yeah,
it's like doctors that specialize, like all they know is like, oh, I'm a doctor of the foot. I'm a doctor of the lungs.
So if you've got necrosis in your foot, I mean, I can deal with that, but I don't know, like, well, maybe it's with my diet. I don't know. That's for them to look at over there.
Yeah, that's for the nutritionist or something.
Right, but then you go to them and they don't understand. There's a certain point where they're just like, don't question that, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is the problem, is like it all comes down to the physicists, and the physicists reject the existence of the computer itself. Going back to our analogy, they're like, no, it's all just what's on the computer screen, and we can't even talk about anything else. So the way our whole system is set up, you're never going to get to a picture of all of reality. That is why right now the world needs what we have. It's not about you, me, each of us individually, like knowing everything and like, oh, that's why they need me. Like I am, no, it's like what we have access to, the understanding and the point and the context and the gist of everything that we're presenting is what the world needs, because otherwise people are looking for purpose. The only option here is for the Republicans to form a religious coalition and basically become a religious dictatorship. So what the left fears is actually a real problem, if that makes sense. I don't think that's what Trump represents.
I have a picture of all reality. I have a clear picture of all reality. You want to see it?
Yes.
This is it right here. This is it. All reality is this right here.
It's a red echo chamber.
That's it. At least that's the way that we're participating in it right now.
Actually, that is what it is, if you really think about it for a moment.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
It is like, literally an echo chamber.
Like you make a drop, it reaches the edges, it comes back, patterns form. Boom.
Yes.
That's the concentric circles in a body of water. When it reaches the edges, those waves.
Everything is sound. Like when you shout, you're vibrating your own cells too.
Yeah.
And when you're putting things into the world, you're programming reality, and that's going to come back and program you and future generations.
So what's fascinating with all this, right? It might seem unrelated, but I promise it's related. Is Elon made a post after after it was like official that Trump won, and he put in that quote, Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? And I looked it up because I was like, okay, I know it's on the dollar bill. I don't know exactly what it means. It means a new order for the ages. Yeah. And that's actually what this represents, what we're talking about here. It's not because Trump is the new order. Of course, that, let's say it helps, but the actual new order is all of us realizing we are literally creating reality. And the implicit responsibility within that is to then go all the way. Because you're seeing it now. It's like it's becoming kind of cool. Like if you're on X, you're seeing like you got guys like Naval and all them, and the whole Chamath and all those guys going like, hey, I'd be willing to work in this administration. I'd be willing to do my part. And so it's becoming cool again to look at politics. And of course, you're gonna have the swamp creatures and the people who don't give a fuck want to get in there for power. But it's this new era that's opening up, and we, as this group, can really step into that as like this is it is the new order of the ages. But you have to understand this in order for it to happen. Otherwise, we'll time loop on an existential fucking level.
Yeah. It's like we were bringing up before, like, okay, they're not going to be able to do this on their own. Like okay, Trump made a speech the other day that was like, he made a couple of speeches. One was like, hey, in this administration, we're going to reach 250 years of America. We're going to celebrate. Here's how we're going to celebrate. Like, we're going
to Iowa.
Yeah,
Let's go. Hang on, you're muted, Cam.
I said we're going back to slavery.
Yeah. And it's like
as if that was what America represented in the first place. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, but like certain people hadn't sold us the slaves. Like, I mean, jeez.
Certain people. The whole idea of like a world fair and all of that is a really cool idea.
Yeah,
it
actually is. Cool.
It's going to take a lot of people to put that together, right? Like, or the idea of like, we're going to build these 10 new cities. Like, it's going to take, he even said in there, it's like, it's going to take hundreds of thousands of people just to build these cities. And then like people are going to live there and,
Oh, there's okay. That's why you were saying don't jump the gun earlier.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, he should do like a jobs program, like in the Federal Reserve, in the, yeah.
That's what I was saying. And then like, he says, in
he literally is Hitler.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
in the best way possible.
Right. Like,
right. And if you don't know about that,
everybody has an angel and a demon, right?
Yeah.
So does Hitler.
So, but no, he even said like, oh, we're going to do a bonus. Like, I'm going to talk to Congress about doing a baby bonus. So potentially already he's saying like, we're going to get a $10,000 tax cut for every child that homeschools, right? Per year. And then on top of that, he's saying a baby bonus. So if you have a baby, like, I don't know how much he's offering for that.
It'd be nice if the tax cut was redundant because they just got rid of income tax. But yeah.
Right. But like the baby thing, that would be cool. Like, and that would definitely incentivize a lot of young people to be like, oh, maybe I can afford to have it, because that's the main thought. Is like
they could do the tax cut quickly.
Yeah.
If there was even the potential of them doing the income tax point later, it would have to be done much later, I would think.
Sure.
It would take a lot more building to get that out of the way.
Sure.
But I could see it being like, okay, you do this, then you do that.
Yeah. It would be really awesome to see like
your point though about like incentivizing the point of having kids. I mean, didn't Hitler do that?
Did she?
Yeah.
Hitler? She incentivized having kids?
Not Hitler.
Oh, I thought you had Hillary. Oh, I was like,
not Hillary.
You were lagging.
She's incentivizing people.
Like
she's incentivizing these women to shave their fucking heads and not have kids. Which, hey, I'm okay.
So here's what I saw.
We don't even have to put laws in place for a parental certificate. It's just common sense now.
But just the point of like, okay, Trump incentivizing all these things is going to take a lot of people. Right now, the school system cannot handle more kids being brought. Like the way that our birth rate is going, where it's getting lower and lower and lower, and the kids are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. And part of that, I'm sure, is immigrants coming into this country who don't speak the language, and they're getting pushed into the school system, and the school system does not care, and they're like, yeah, whatever, just keep on going, whatever, right? It's not going to be able to handle creating the children who will be necessary to create these major cities that he's talking about creating. It's not going to be able to handle all the technology and all the. Oh, by the way, you saw the thing that he's got that new guard at his house. Let me see if I can find it.
Robo Dog.
Yeah.
I learned they have Chinese versions of that where it's only $1,500. They can get up to 30 miles an hour. I was listening to Mark Andreessen on a podcast.
Oh, wow.
And you can eat it.
Bro, wow. It's just like a 3D printer. It prints its own flesh.
Mitchell says, wow.
They're bioengineered.
Okay, so I just wanted to play this because, like, look, the point with this.
Look, it says USS. It says Secret Service on the side. That's crazy.
Wow, that's hilarious. The point with this, though, is we were talking about this long before, we got into this current like, election or whatever, we were talking about how, oh, look, Peter Thiel's backing him, Elon Musk is backing him. You know what they want to do? They want to like beef up the AI. All of Silicon Valley is like, yes, Trump. Why? Because they want to do this shit. They want to have like AI. What's that?
Right.
What if it like lifted up its leg and like pissed a bunch of oil like onto something? Hey, we should make robotics.
Okay, look at that white SUV in the background, right? Let's say someone gets out of there, starts walking towards it. What do you think it does?
Probably sounds an alarm, makes an alert, attacks that person, maybe shoots him. I don't know.
I don't think it has
like,
guns.
At
It's
what
just
point does it
surveillance.
start shooting?
I don't think
It's
I don't
just
think it has
surveillance.
guns yet, but
I don't
that's
know, man.
yet. That's yet.
We should
I
make some
saw-
robotic squirrels and like the dog starts
In honor of
chasing him.
Peanut.
No, sorry, yeah. Sorry, it's just chasing him.
Okay, all right. Question. The
Would you
question
pet the
here is
dog?
about.
Hey, before you go on, let me show you something about the Hitler thing, just to
Okay.
reinforce and I'll give it back. Oh, oops.
But the question that I had was, damn it, I forgot it.
Check this
Okay.
out. I asked Grok. I said, I've just been using this. What were the positive things Hitler did? Right. So it
You gotta
says,
unoptimize it, or wait, just wait.
It's all.
It'll fix it. Okay, there, it's good.
You're good.
Hitler's government did stimulate economic recovery in the 1930s through extensive public work projects, construction of the Autobahn, rearmament, unemployment was significantly reduced. Right. Yeah, I know they have to say all of this because
Yeah.
they have to say, oh, we're not trying to sue you. There's got to be a caveat. Okay. Environmental protection, promoting community, strength through joy.
Oh, that sounded.
Maybe there is a place for Kamala back in here, right?
Kamala, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize
That you were the Hitler that we needed.
Bring us strength through joy. Shit. Get her back. Bring her back.
Look, why can't we have nice roads, rockets, all that kind of stuff, and a bunch of WAP? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't, or was it WAP?
Yeah.
I can
WAP
tell you
on the
why we
rockets.
can't have the WAP. I can tell you why. And that
Is it WAP or WAP?
WAP. Why would it be WAP? That sounds...
Isn't it WAP?
Yeah, it is WAP. It's pronounced WAP.
But ass is pronounced with an A. With
You need phonics. Okay, you need phonics. No, you need
Wait,
that.
but what does it stand for?
WAP. Wet ass.
But
Pussy.
where's the awe? Were they
Aw.
British? Like, what's ass pussy? Like, where's the awe coming from?
Well, okay,
No,
all right.
Has no one questioned this?
What about NASA? Why is it called NASA?
Some people say NASA.
NASA?
I've heard people say that, unfortunately.
Wow. But maybe they were
Look.
talking about Nassau, Bahamas.
When you're talking about a bunch of hoax bullshit, it doesn't. You can say it however you want. Okay.
Okay. So I thought this was pretty funny.
WAP is not a hoax, by the way.
Is this a picture of
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban? Yeah.
As a
Yeah, I
woman?
think it is.
Hilarious. But no, I thought this was pretty hilarious. It's like women are threatening now, like, oh, we're not gonna have sex.
Wait, go back. It said the biggest losers in the election, therapists.
Oh, I missed that.
Biggest winner in the election, the rapist.
Dude, apparently Joe Rogan had somebody on not too long ago, a psychologist, and they said by getting you to talk about your problems over and over again, they keep you recreating the problem to keep you coming back, right? But this woman was just basically saying how she's no longer going to have sex with these men out here. Like, oh, so it actually shows.
Was this chick just banging dudes left and right, or what?
But it actually shows that they were using abortion as like some sort of contraceptive, as some sort of birth control. Well, obviously birth control,
And
like,
as a weapon.
yeah, and it's like
It should be
what?
weapon ass pussy. That should be the.
But like it's like, holy crap! You said this whole time that you're not using abortion as like, you know, just as a protection for birth control or whatever. But now that you can't have an abortion, or that there's a supposed abortion ban, which there's not, it's really like up to your state, and you can vote for it and whatever. And if you don't like it in your state, move to a fucking another state. Like if it, like, okay, here's my thing with it. There's all these women that I've seen posting of like, if you have an ectopic pregnancy, or you have a miscarriage or whatever, this is all termed as an abortion, and a doctor will not operate on you because they're afraid to, and then they're going to have to send you, basically you're going to die. And I'm like, first of all, that's not true, because those are all things that they say, hey, that's going to threaten the life of, the mother, and we would do something about that. There's, specific language written into these laws of like, if you were, sexually abused or something like that, then obviously you can have an abortion. But if you actually believed that it was the case that you could not do that, I think that would be like a really life-threatening thing that you would say, I need to move out of this state or something, so that if that were to happen to me, that then I can at least have safety in my life. Right? Like that would be my thinking. But also, I don't know how many people have told me how many videos they've seen of mothers telling their like 12, 13-year-old daughters, whatever, Trump won, and then these daughters crying. They're like, oh no, like my
You
rights
promised I get an abortion for Christmas.
And I'm like, why is your 12-year-old, 13-year-old daughter thinking about an abortion? Like, I don't understand it.
Did I
Like,
send you that one of that woman being like talking to her kids?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
Like, okay, my question is, that means that what you've taught them is that, first of all, they're going around thinking they're going to just get raped randomly. Why? Why are you teaching them that? Like,
because but they teach them evolution, so everything's random. So it's just random. They're
okay, but like
randomly,
okay. So first of all, we're telling kids, we're trying to keep the magic alive of Santa Claus.
Dude, it's the same shit that people do if you're black. It's like they constantly tell you, like, people hate you. People think you're inferior. You were a slave. Cops hate you. Like, everything's gonna be harder in your life. They're doing it to women too. It's like, you're gonna get raped. You're gonna
right. Exactly. It's like, why the fuck are you telling your 12-year-old, 13-year-old daughter this, and then making her believe that, and then like, and now they just took away your right to abort that thing. Like, whoa.
And then why are you posting it on fucking social media? Oh, because you want attention.
Right. And like, okay.
Did you see that whole thing with Nick Fuentes going like, your body, my choice?
No, I didn't see that. That's hilarious.
I saw that, but I didn't know the context.
That's terrible.
That's hilarious.
He was like, we're back. We won. I'm like, dude, weren't you like fucking like this like last 2 months, like talking shit about Trump and you won't support him. And now he's acting like, oh, we did it, boys.
Right. Like, he was talking a lot of shit. And I'm like, come on, dude.
He's Catholic though. What do you expect?
Yeah.
I find it really interesting with watching X. Like, over the past week, I really saw how just more the power of that platform. And
dude, it really is like the next. It is the media.
Because and then like you had Dave Smith on Joe Rogan, which is also cool to see, because now like the whole, like, if you kind of get the stamp of approval by Rogan and you can hang for 3 hours, it's like it holds more weight publicly.
Right.
But it was interesting because I was watching Dave Smith. I've listened to some of his stuff, but hearing him for like 3 hours go in with Joe, I was like, oh wow, I could see more of his worldview and how he's like really like against the whole like war hawk thing. And it was fascinating because then the day after, because Trump's assembling his cabinet basically, how there was this trend, and I saw someone post like hashtag no Pompeo, and he's like, it's number 5, and then they're like, it's number 3, it's number 1.
But before that, there was all this propaganda that Trump was going to select Pompeo, and who's the other one?
Maybe Nikki
Haley, right?
I'm sure there's others.
I just want to give that context to what you're saying.
Yeah. And so it's like this new way the public has a voice somewhat, now if the average person's still retarded, obviously it's not going to be the answer, but it's like this, it's a very cool kind of new emergent property that's happening from the platform.
It's also quite possible he was never going to put them in there. I saw this thing saying it was his technique where he gives someone information that's false just to see where it gets leaked and who leaks it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he'll like deliberately maybe say something and only to one person. Because like I saw this thing recently where it was like Ben Shapiro saying he has inside information that he was going to choose Pompeo. So they're already trying to undermine him. And so he can see like, if I tell this person, where does that information, does it go out and who does it go to? Who's really on my side? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then he comes out and says in an official statement, they're not part of it. He says, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
and then Dave Smith goes, this is awesome, no, but this is not enough. We don't want any war hawks. Donald Trump Jr., our boy, then says, 100% we're working on it.
Nice.
And then Dave Smith's like, you are awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so cool. That's so cool. Here,
Yeah,
I wanted to
imagine
share
how much of our fucking brain
Dude, what if
power,
Donald
our
Trump
money-
Jr.
Yeah.
becomes president next time?
Oh,
okay.
my boy, hit him up. Hey, remember?
Remember me when you're at the top?
Dude, that would be awesome. So what was I gonna say? Just how much of our so we talk about we're all generating reality, right? And how much of our effort and energy and focus and brain power and resources is all just going to fucking destroy ourselves through war.
Totally.
All just so some companies can make some profit. And it's like it's a cool transition now that this is in the public spotlight of like, oh yeah, why the fuck are we doing all this?
Now, here's the thing. This is why, for those who are listening to us, we have to go into overtime because Trump is not the solution. And it's not because I don't trust Trump. He might do everything he's saying. It's not about trust.
He's also talking about putting fucking prayer back in schools, and he's Bible thumping.
Yes, but regardless of that, even okay. Regardless of that, he's got to go in there and stop all the war, right? What do you think the fucking stock?
But say that again, it cut out.
I said, what do you think the stock market is based on?
Yeah, war.
Yeah, war.
You know what I mean? So he's going to go in there. What do you think is going to happen? He can't. The problem is the system we have is built on war.
Right.
It's built on poverty. He can't really make America great again with the fucking system we have. It's not possible.
Right.
I'm not trying to criticize him. It's just like we got to then come in with like, okay, and here's how, like, we're almost there, guys, but like, now we got to go to the next point.
Yes.
Get us all on
So we don't have a choice. This is not like, oh, guys, okay, they're gonna win. We got it. We don't have to do anything.
We will
it's like no,
loop so bad.
No, exactly.
Like time looping.
What is this?
This is something Katie sent me. This is instead of
yeah. I love
there's
this.
this MATGA movement. Make Aqua Tofana great again. I don't know. Have you seen this, Mitch?
No, I haven't.
But, how these women, started the.
See, like they're like, sure, your body, our choice. They're reacting.
Never gonna happen, sweetie.
That's
your
Nick
body,
Fuentes.
our choice.
Is it basically like putting cyanide?
So
in it
basically, this woman
killed 600 dudes by like poisoning them.
Yeah, and so she's starting a movement of like we should poison, and maybe she says it's just a joke, but this is like a freaking dark joke that somebody's going to take this seriously.
Okay,
Yeah.
hear me out. And okay, let's see what she says.
Okay,
What'd she say?
Oh,
Am I right?
back it up a little bit.
Go back.
I don't know.
There we go.
She's mad because RFK is going to make America healthy again.
Am I right? Aqua Tofana. If you know, you know.
Isn't that like?
Oh, they all use the same song. Jeez.
I remember that from Lion King.
Your
Isn't that
body
what
knows
they?
this.
Isn't that what that fucking Warthog would say? Aqua Tofana.
Wow. They all. What? So there's literally a whole bunch of. And are you interested in investing in poison rings?
Nobody wants your mop.
Wow.
Your masculine ass pussy.
What is this? Wow.
Yo.
Privilege. You
Oh shit, dude.
Wow. So there's a whole trend of women who are like, yeah,
Guys, kill yourself now. She's off the market. Anyways.
Hey, Hey,
So
disclaimer.
they're
if your
basically just
14-year-old is
normalizing
watching
murder
this,
of men. Is that basically what it is?
You need to talk to your parents. Cam did not mean that. Get off the AI. Get off the.
Do not kill yourself.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it.
actually do that. But
Women are not worth it.
what does this show you though? Is like, okay, hold on. So if you guys had won the election,
Yeah.
like who's the reasonable people? When 2020 happened, was it a bunch of people being like, we want to kill all the no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And they even thought it was stolen from them. And here you have these people lose and they're like, we're gonna poison everybody. It's like, dude, that's why you lost, because you're psychopaths. Right. That's why you shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Right. 100%. 100%.
Make dude, Edward Bernays was onto some shit. Wait, no.
What?
No, he made it the other way. I don't know what I was thinking.
Dude, mega movement. Make it
in my mind, for some reason, he had something to do with them not voting. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, he helped them. Yeah. I got a lot of tabs open specifically for this podcast. You want to just go through them real quick?
Do it.
Do whatever. Yeah, like whatever.
Okay. What do you got, Mitch?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something.
Nah.
All right, let's go. Let's speed around. Go through all my tabs. Here, Elon Musk says, you guys can see now? Okay. Elon Musk says, you know what actually helped? Actually, Callie Mean says the salt on raw milk. You guys remember when we were talking about, and I don't think we were sharing our screen back then, but we were talking about how the Amish were getting attacked, right? Over the whole raw milk thing. And they were taking out their farms and they were just like overly like heavy hand on the Amish, right? And obviously it was all BS, but they were trying to claim that like somebody died from drinking this Amish man's raw milk, which was such a lie. It was a total, complete fabrication. Woman died of something completely unrelated, but they just needed a way to try and get in here and stop the Amish from producing like meat, chickens, whatever it is, and selling it to people who wanted to buy it from them because they didn't want all the bleached shit that you get in the supermarket and, you know, with the chemicals and antibiotics and all that stuff. They liked the way that the Amish raise their meat. And so government went in with a heavy hand, shut them down. So Elon Musk went to the Amish and was like, hey, look, would you guys vote? Like, can I give you guys a ride to the polling place and make sure that you guys have the opportunity to vote? And they were like, fuck yeah. And you know, they all voted against the government tyranny, right? And it's so interesting because you got to imagine probably the government was going in there thinking like, these guys don't vote anyway. Like they don't have a community, they don't have social media, and it completely backfired on them because, you know, all the homesteaders were just like resharing like, hey, this is kind of scary because what are the implications to me, right? Like it's obvious. If you have critical thinking, you can see that shit. Then look at this. Joel Salatin, we've talked about Joel Salatin before, is basically going to be an advisor to Thomas Massey, who's apparently the only representative in Congress who doesn't have a what do they call him? An
advisor from Israel?
Yeah.
APAC handler?
Yeah, APAC. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a handler. He doesn't have a overlord on him. Right? And then he's going to be
personal angel
tapped to be the Secretary of Agriculture for the USDA. That's amazing. Well, it could potentially be amazing. It could be, let me just say that. Let me put the caveat. It could potentially be really amazing, where they could, because Joel Salatin.
I would be selling so much beef, you guys, your head would spin.
Get that beef, baby. But yeah, like that would
the rivers would flow with raw milk.
That would mean that basically, perhaps raw milk wouldn't be illegal for human consumption here in Florida. Right now, I have to buy raw milk that says it's for calves only.
Oh, is it for your? You don't drink it though. It's just for your cats, obviously.
It's just for my calves.
For your calves you have.
All the
calves.
Cows.
You give it to your
rub
cats.
it on your calves. On your
Get to my cats.
So you can buy it for your cats, but you can consume it if as long as.
Well, once it gets to my house, you know, I don't think the government can tell me what to do with it.
My body, my choice.
Right. If I want to shower,
like, dude, seriously, my body, my choice. It's like, dude, raw milk is illegal. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Then you got
my cow, my choice.
I didn't see this one actually. I want to watch.
Oh,
it.
really? Start from the beginning.
Some of the
That is
president-elect's
the beginning.
advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on? Do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
Hi, Victoria Guido with.
So,
Well,
there you
hold
go,
on, hold
Federal
on.
Reserve. just
He's
found-
right, though.
Legally,
He's
you're
right.
not
They're not a part of the
required to
government.
leave.
He's not.
Doesn't he mean to say yeah?
Yeah.
It's like a double negative.
He's like telling the truth without meaning to. Like I was like saying to somebody, like thinking the Federal Reserve is somehow part of the government. It's like thinking Bank of America is part of the government.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They just chose a name that sounds like it could be
It sounds
legit.
Right,
you
right,
know?
yeah.
It's just a bank.
Bank of America. You're like, yeah, it's part of the government, right?
If
Nope.
if
That'd be like
the
Jamie Dimon being like, I don't have to fucking do what the president tells me.
Yeah. If he told you to step down, would you? No. Do you think you're not required to? No. This is I like this.
Tonight,
yeah.
I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
Dude.
You know about that?
And that was the whole thing about Ron.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis was going to be the guy to do that.
Yeah.
Was gonna let
the
it
way
in
he
or
said
no?
it. It was kind of like a sing-songy tone. He's like, I'm doing another thing to protect Americans. I'm protecting you from government tyranny.
You're saying DeSantis was the guy who was going to stand against it, or
No,
let it in?
he was going to be
He was
going
to be the guy
shepherd
to
it in.
implement it. Yeah.
Oh, the sanctimonious.
This is actually pretty cool because I know some people that are just like so paranoid about it. And they're like, we shouldn't even do anything like Technotutor, Self-Perfected, Destiny, because it doesn't matter because they're going to do a CBDC anyways and we're all fucked. And I'm like, you fucking
It's like, yeah,
weak
You pussy.
pussy. Weak ass
pussy.
pussy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what WAP stands for.
That's the only WAP I can't abide by. Okay.
Okay, this one seemed interesting. I only saw like a little bit of this.
I think there are a lot of families out there who
Oh, yeah, this is
don't
good.
believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys.
No,
I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this
that's
table. I
not-
am not
that's
going to
not the
listen
point
to
that
you
I'm-
call a
can-
trans
can-
girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys.
What is that guy's name?
They're not playing girls softball.
That guy's name? Who's
Yeah.
saying not listening to transphobia?
Yeah.
Jay something, I don't know.
I want to do an early life check on this guy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know it. They're not
I
boys.
wonder if I might notice anything.
I'm not going to listen to transphobic slurs. Like the word boy is a transphobic. Oh, God.
Jeez, you're slurring this. What are they?
Reset for a second because look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Michael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, like let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't.
There-
You're
no,
not.
no,
Just
it's
to be
okay.
clear, you are not being.
But I
targeted.
am. But it's okay.
I'm specifically
It's okay.
saying that I know that you are not intending to.
I love
be
his face,
transphobic.
dude.
He should know that I'm not in it. He wants to.
I like this guy. I don't know who he is. I like him.
You're using a phrase
I want to
that
give
you
you an
know.
opportunity.
So the way regular
That's
people
not-
interpret it,
That's not
which is why
regular
those
people.
ads were
That's not
effective.
regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys.
He
This
looks a
whole
lot
thing
like
about
a
trans
Jay.
girls is a canard.
Jay
And
Michelson.
We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of the population.
Rabbi and author.
And we're
You don't have to do an
I didn't even have to notice anything.
Hold on, just get to your point.
My point in terms of its
Holy
effectiveness,
shit.
regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what, this is a bit too far. I do not agree with this. I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested
and
that they were
lying
working.
in those ads
And
over
lied.
over again.
Okay,
And
all right.
Okay,
You're lying.
so do you remember that thing I sent you that was like somebody had said like the way Jewish people argue is like the same way women argue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That it's what it is. It's like this.
Yeah, it's a very feminine.
Okay, listen. It's not about feminine actually, per se. It's about knowing how to use words to overpower another person. Like this is why I always talk about like that point about domestic abuse. And it's like, well, it's always the man that's violent. It's like, that's because that's how men express their frustration.
Yeah.
Women are equally abusive to men. In fact, a lot of times more so because they know how to use words like, oh, you piece of shit. You're so lazy. That's why your father fucking did this, or that's my mother, da, 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 or what, you know, like they know how to get under a man's skin.
Yeah.
Right. Now, as a man, that doesn't mean you should fight. You should be so low self-esteem. You have to physically fight somebody, you know, that can't really fight back, but physically, but it's like it's like knowing how to dude, it's just the self-deceiver. It's you have a way of using words to trap the person in the system. And what's going on here, I don't even know which side of it the black dude is on. I don't know if he's a conservative. I'm assuming
he's a
it says he is
strategist.
Okay.
Yeah,
his name is Michael.
Yeah,
so he's got his own problems.
But, Michael.
But his
dad is like, I want to name him Michael.
Sure.
And the mom was like, no, and he's like, please, and like he's born. He's like, babe,
sure,
I really see that he's a Michael, and she's like, sure, Michael.
They're like,
the doctor's
okay.
like, what do you want to name him?
Are you sure,
Michael?
Michael, sure, Michael. Okay, so anyways, all he was saying was they ran these ads saying boys are not allowed in girls' sports. He wasn't even, although maybe he would separately, he's not in that saying that trans girls aren't boys. He wasn't saying that. Maybe he believes it, but that's not what he was saying. He was just saying, I remember this time I was at the Air Force Academy and we were doing some fucking, I don't know, training thing. And it was about politics. And then I was saying, oh yeah, you know, like that during the election, and you just saw like, it was all just, I think it was John Kerry, or I think it was maybe John Kerry at the time. It was like Bush Kerry. And the commander guy got mad and he was like, that's President Bush, you know, because it's like, that's like your commanding officer. You're not supposed to refer. But I was like, I just let it go. But I'm like, I wasn't saying it to be disrespectful but those what the signs say. The signs didn't say President Bush. Like if I'd said, oh, all the signs I see say President Bush Kerry, President Bush, that's not what they fucking said. I wasn't. Right. But it's like, it's that way of arguing where you argue about the way the person's saying it, not what they're saying, right? Yeah. Anyways, I just want to point that out because that's what's going on there. But also what the guy's saying is fucking retarded.
Casuistic. Very casuistic.
Dude, it's the same people that killed Jesus, man.
Yes.
The Pharisees, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, middle schoolers can't read. High schoolers can't write a proper essay. College students
no. That's not the tone. Come on, give us the right tone.
Give us the tone, Drake. Come on.
Wait.
I want to be in it.
No. Sorry, gentle parenting. That's I gotta channel my inner gentle parent.
Oh, okay, good.
You got it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, I've got it in me, but I want you to do
it. Okay. No, you did. You got it.
I was just gonna be like, oh, by the way, middle schoolers can't read. High schoolers can't write a proper essay. College students can't differentiate a scholarly-based article versus propaganda. And adults can't tell when a picture is AI. But sure, get rid of the Department of Education. LOL.
Yeah. Like, why do you think they can't read?
People are like, what? But it was like, you're just indicting the fucking school system.
Right. She didn't think it was happening.
Finally, they realized all the people are educated by Department of Education.
Right. Oh, man.
We just had phonics, guys.
I want to be head of fucking Department of Education.
Dude, you sent this and I cracked up so hard.
For the astrology girlies, I just want to know, I have been studying Kamala's charts and it looks like she is not only going to win, but she is going to be winning a second term. The next 8 years in her chart look really, really strong. Trump's not so much. Okay, so I was wrong. A lot of astrologers were wrong. A lot of us were wrong. But if you think that right now is the time to tell me that you don't believe in astrology, who gives a about astrology right now, dude? Who literally cares about that?
Yes, this is what we were trying to tell you the whole time. Who gives a fuck about astrology?
See, the problem with astrology is I'm not saying popular astrology, but there is a potential value to astrology to like understand pre-programming, but you can't use it to predict the future of what's going to happen. between two people
Right.
because of the stars. It's like all it did was potentially determine your certain characteristics that you have in programming. It's not something you can use to predict the future. That's when you've gone into fucking La La Land, and you literally just believe everything. No, things aren't even random. They're just literally pre-programmed like a fucking simulation.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, guess what?
to
Maybe,
affect
or
that
actually, you know what? In a pre-programmed situation, that probably is what would happen.
Right.
But it
What
ain't
they don't know
pre-programmed
is you
anymore,
can
bitch.
Pre-program a new reality.
Yeah.
Thanks to TT in the process.
Bernard portaled your ass.
Yeah, let's go.
It sounded worse than I thought it would.
Portal to your ass. Bring your ass over here.
About to open a portal.
Please don't.
I'm gonna explore dimensions that have never been explored.
Oh, jeez.
Darren's been using Grok so much, he's like,
There's not gonna be a white light in there. I'll tell you that.
Okay, all right. Explain to me what is going on here with these monkeys.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, damn, what's gonna happen with this? I haven't seen any update on it
I
yet.
swear to God, if some gay dude breaks out with monkeypox, I'm gonna be like,
Oh
I
my
fucking.
gosh. Why were you fucking the monkeys? The poor Reese's monkeys.
I want to see
Jeez.
Reese's monkeys through the portal. They can tell us what's up.
Okay, what? Okay, well.
I think the real one is Philadelphia.
So they're just thinking that there's going to be another pandemic because of these monkeys. Is that it?
Probably just more fear.
I think it would have already happened, you know? Yeah, I think they're just trying to be like,
Okay, this I thought was significant, which is basically.
Yeah, Chris, it's not a surprise that these cases can't go forward when Donald Trump takes office.
It's not a surprise now? It's not a surprise? I thought.
Because he can pardon himself. But like,
Oh,
get
is
him
that
now
it?
before he gets office. Like,
Right. I thought the whole thing was like, no, this guy's going to jail, and this is for America and all this, and now all of a sudden it's like
literally
well,
just
he
drop the
won.
cases. They're probably like, oh fuck, dude, we better like.
we better. He's gonna come after us. You know it. This is clearly lawfare. Remember when everybody was saying this is lawfare? They're just going after their political opponent. It didn't work, and now they're like, fuck, because everything that they had, everything that I looked at was very frivolous, very fucking frivolous.
Bullshit.
It was total bullshit. So that's cool.
Drake,
I saw this.
Oh, I love this one. What?
You love this one?
I haven't seen this one. I need to see this.
Hold on. Do you have the other one I sent you?
Here with Venus Williams, and I'm not fangirling.
Yeah, I gotta pull it up.
Do that one too after this, because I want people to see the context.
Okay, Mitch, do you know that other one?
I have no. I have not seen this.
Yeah, get the other one,
okay.
and then we'll do that one too after.
I also sent you something else that's funny, Drake, but you just show it after this.
Okay. Hang on. I gotta type something into my what's it called? Chat.
Is that a joke? Oh, it's Babylon B. Okay, that is pretty funny though.
Yeah. Dang. I can't. Can you send it to me again? Because I can't find it.
Maybe
I can, but it's just taking too long.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Okay, cool. All right.
See how I stand here with Venus Williams, and I'm not fangirling? Very demure, very mindful. And see how we're here on GMA 3? Very cutesy and very mindful, very demure. Very demure, very mindful. See how I stand here with Venus.
What do you think, Mitch?
Wow. Very demure, very mindful.
There you go. Yeah.
You're
Mitch
getting
gets
it. Drake, he understood the assignment.
He understood the assignment.
I was telling Drake, if any man says that, they're a faggot.
Oh shit! Oh, okay, hold on. I saw this other thing.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, do that one. Do that one.
I'm gonna play this one. Here you go.
She kind of gave me vibes of that French lady. The
You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't come to work with a green cut crease. I don't look like a clown when I go to work. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. See how I look very presentable? The way I came to the interview is the way I go to the job. A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma. Not demure. I'm very modest. I'm very mindful. You see my shirt? Only a little chichi out, not my chocho. Be mindful of why they hired you. Here's your reality check, diva. What's the name you'd like me to make it out to? You see how
I like that line at the end. Yeah, very demure. Yeah. Oh yeah. This just like exudes demure.
How many people know what demure means? So Christine was telling me about this, but I don't think she.
You know what I did? You know what I did?
But
I actually looked it up because I was like, maybe it means not what I think it means. I was like, no, it just means what I thought it meant.
Yeah.
Like,
Effectively modest or shy, especially in a playful or provocative way.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something
Modest
demure
and
about
shy.
this
Yeah,
person.
let's go.
Christine was telling me about
He's on a
this trend with the very demure, very mindful, but I don't think she made it really clear, or I wasn't paying attention to that it was a trans woman. Like
Yeah, I looked it up to see who was the originator of it. I was like, wait, what the fuck is this?
Because I definitely see other women. I've seen women actually saying like very demure, like very mindful, like as a playful thing. But I was like, where did this come from? And I was just like, whatever. It
So
sounds-
wait. This person on the camera is a dude.
Whoa, Drake, Mitch. Hold on. When I hear transphobic slurs, I'm gonna have to push back. Okay, I'm gonna have to shut you down there. Okay, I can't just.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I should have told you before.
Okay, I'm being
you
singled
became
out.
attracted to her.
Okay, I see you're coming after me. Okay.
Mitch can't even tell if this is a dude or not. I got some AI pictures of eagles to send you, dude.
Mitch, give him a break. He's from Minnesota.
True. Your state is hard, very blue.
Here. I can't tell anymore.
Hey, isn't it funny though that like blue? Remember like all the blue light and everything, and it's like that's literally the
blue light.
representation
Or
of
the blue pill versus the red pill.
Wow.
Dude. Whoa!
Holy shit! This whole time.
Do you want to?
It was right there in front of us.
My favorite color used to be blue, and now I have to change it.
Isn't it funny how they call the right? It's like, I mean, I'm not saying it is right, but between both,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a right and a wrong.
And left, the Latin word for left is
leftist.
Wrong.
No. What's the look up? What is left in Latin?
Devil. No, I'm just kidding.
Haha.
Sinister.
Oh wow, that's just right in front of us.
Why?
You mean left in front of us?
Evil, foreboding, malevolence. Definitely give me Kamala vibes.
Wow. Holy shit.
Wait, Dexter is right though.
This I thought this was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I like the arguments that he makes.
I got another message. Another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
So I like this one just because, like, he puts it in context of like you're worse than the terrorist organization, and it made me think like literally war or drugs are war. It's warfare.
Well, first of all, who do you think funds the terrorists, and who do you think is working with the criminal drug cartels? Something that
Did
starts
y'all
with
see this
a
one, then?
C.
This meme. Let's have illegal immigrants hunt down sex offenders for a chance at citizenship. We'll call it aliens versus predator.
I love that one.
A chance? So hold on. Is this guy suggesting we have sex offenders?
No. He said
illegal
the
immigrants.
illegals.
Oh, the
get a
illegals.
chance.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like a closed scenario, maybe, but
Dude, and then Elon gets his Optimus bots. It's like Alien versus Predator versus like Terminator.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, if we want to get rid of a bunch of immigrants, why don't we just import a bunch of Israelis, soldiers? They love killing it didn't work. I tried.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Next time.
We're working on Cameron's stand-up routine. It will be ready in 2 months.
No, a few years. A few years. He's got some work to do. Oh, I love this one.
It is a skill set, though.
I'm just gonna my stand-up special is gonna be called "Sit Down for This."
This is the American healthcare system in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love this one.
Ambulance hits Oregon cyclist.
Is that
They
John
rush into
McAfee?
hospital inside the ambulance, then bill him $1,800 for using their service.
That's why I texted you guys. I was like, guys, I have a business idea. What's
But
that
seriously,
guy? What was that in Rome? Remember, or whatever?
What?
The guy who had
What?
like the insurance, the fire insurance.
Yeah, and he like
Oh,
ran the fire
right.
department.
Remember that?
Right. Right. Exactly. But this is how our healthcare system works. This is like they feed you crappy food that causes you to get sick, and then they got
They
you on the
import a
hook.
bunch of illegals.
Yeah.
They rape you. They pay for your abortion. And they paid for the illegals.
Wait, how did they make money off of this?
The interest.
It's crazy.
The interest on the loan.
Interest.
Hey, actually, though, you know what? Let's go back for a second. Just realized this. Remember that whole thing JFK explained or RFK explained about Ukraine? Did we watch that last time?
We did watch that one. Can we watch this
And
one
how?
too?
Hold on. And how?
Okay.
You know, we give these loans to Ukraine, but then they're conditional, obviously, and they have to give us. They have to give like land and stuff and contracts and things to the companies, like BlackRock owned companies. Isn't that what's going on with the Federal Reserve? It's like, if you think about it, they loan all this money to the government, but what's the conditions? Is like that we will always exploit our people.
Did you look up the people that started the Federal Reserve, like early life?
Oh boy.
Their
I was
early
just
life?
curious.
Is it like pretty obvious? Oh.
I'm just curious. I haven't done it. I'm just
No, I
curious.
haven't.
Like you're saying, like you ever read Creature from Jekyll Island?
Yeah.
Isn't it in there?
Well, no, I'd like to know.
I don't think there's any early life checks in there.
I don't.
Let's
yeah,
ask
I don't-
Brock. Early life check.
Early life check.
Dude, you should make an app called Early Life Check, and you'd be breaking in the money right now.
Dude, especially right now with the way X is going, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, just 10 cents to run that for you. Done." Okay, check it out. That's actually a really good idea. Somebody wants to take that idea. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, here I am in Sherwood, Connecticut, on Sherwood
not
Island.
Forest.
There's a little woodchuck hall. Shirley Troubadour asked a question about why Gates and China are being allowed to buy up all the farmland in our country. And I'm going to tell you something that I had an experience with. I spent many years, about 20 years, suing the factory farms, the big hog farms, and
Oh yeah.
the big chicken producers like Tyson and Bo Pilgrim and Frank Perdue. But Smithfield Foods was the biggest pork producer. And Smithfield came to the state of North Carolina. They built a slaughterhouse that could process 30,000 pigs a day. And then they had a partner named Wendell Murphy, who was in the state Senate, and he passed 28 laws in the North Carolina State Senate making it illegal to sue a factory farm. He left and went into partnership with Smithfield, created a way to raise pigs, instead of raising them on farms, to raise them in warehouses called Murphy 1100s. And they dropped the price of pork from 60 cents a pound to 2 cents a pound. It put out of business all 28,000 independent hog farmers in the state of North Carolina, and it replaced them with 2,200 factories, all of them either owned by Smithfield or contracted to Smithfield. The only farmers who could stay in business were farmers who signed that contract with Smithfield to mortgage their homes, to put those big hog sheds, the Murphy 1100s, on their property, and then they lose all control. They become serfs on their own land. Smithfield dictates all their farming practices. It gives them the food. It delivers the piglets, picks up the grown animals, and brings them to slaughter. They put out of business 28,000 farmers, and they control now 80% of the hog production in North Carolina. Because they dropped the price in North Carolina, Iowa had to adopt the same system, had to cave in to Smithfield. They ended up taking control of 80% of the hog production in our country. Then they sold themselves to China. So now China owns all that hog production in America, and it controls our landscapes. And that's the end of Thomas Jefferson's vision of an American democracy rooted in tens of thousands of independent freeholds, each one owned by family farmers, each with a stake in our system of government.
Okay. Okay. That's the only way democracy can work.
Yeah.
When each person is financially independent.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean we can't have a system where your basic needs are met. That can be a part of it, but that's because we all voted for it and we want it. But when everybody is financially stable, when everyone is free from that perspective of any coercion, that's the only way democracy can work.
It's interesting because I played that video for on our Friday night hangout, right? And I asked everyone, I was like, okay, so what's the problem here? What's the actual problem here? And a few people from our group were like, the money system. They could see it. They could see it. It's like, it's so obvious, which means that, the Maha movement, Make America Healthy Again, all of that is like you can't be healthy if you don't have the education. Like it shows, like, just people entering into our group, studying our material, our curriculum, using our tools, they're able to process this information to go, oh, the money system is a problem.
Yeah.
It threatens all of us.
Like, okay, now people talk shit about Amazon. Like, well, they just come in there and they just did all this to get to the number one spot and then they can destroy everybody. I'm like, that's just how that'd be like if someone was like the number one poker player and you're like, yeah, but all they do is like, they bluff and then they gamble high and then they go all in. And it's like, you're just describing the strategy of how to win at poker.
Yeah.
Like literally, Amazon, they did all this shit just to get number one. They drop the prices of everything. Nobody compete. And then everyone starts these stores. They buy the stores. They put them out of, whatever, right? It's like, that's how you fucking dominate and win in the system that we have. So what Smithfield did isn't particularly, it's like, Thomas Jefferson's vision couldn't work because there wasn't an equal money system. That's why it couldn't work. There was not an effective education, because if there had been, nobody would have let this whole thing happen. Like, what was the point where, if you go back to the Federal Reserve, why was it allowed?
Right.
But it wasn't not allowed because it wasn't the government. It was just a fucking, somebody started a bank.
Right.
Somehow they got the ability to persuade the government to let them print the money and to loan it back to the government.
Yeah.
But that happened because there was no principle and there wasn't and no one, that should have been a decision that everybody made.
Right.
But that's not how our reality works. And you get everyone to the point. That was like, when was that, 1920s?
I think a little bit before the 1920s, but yeah.
Sometime around then, though?
Yeah.
So we're already on the decline of all of Jefferson's vision. And like, do you see what I mean?
100%.
You're already at the point where your people are more going into the cities, going to get the jobs. They don't have that stability anymore. They don't have that, fuck you, I can do whatever I want because I produce all the shit and I make it myself and I'm self-sustaining.
And also because we had, at that time, an education system for 60 plus years, right? That was like, the government education system that was implemented exactly for that purpose, to dumb people down, to make sure that, hey, we don't want any competition. We don't want people to feel like they know what to do. We want them to specialize and come work for us at our factories, i.e. John D. Rockefeller, and whoever else at that time was like part of that movement.
Education system, compulsory schooling, women's liberation, quote unquote.
All of that.
All coming together at the same time. Propaganda.
And you gotta have people who are not critical thinkers to make that happen. Mitch, did you want to share the one that you have there and give some context?
Yep. So it was Putin. I mean, this is some guy's take that this is right after Elon made that Novus Ordo Seclorum tweet, but it's cool. I mean, it's just a minute.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
All right, sound should be.
To a certain extent, the moment of truth is coming. The previous world order is irreversibly becoming a thing of the past. One could say has become a thing of the past, and the shaping of the new world order is become the scene of uncompromising fight. Uncompromising, first and foremost, for the reason that it's not even the battle for power or geopolitical influence. It's a clash of the very principles that would be the foundation between the relation, for the relation of the countries at the next historical stage. And its outcome will define whether all of us jointly can build a world that would allow everyone to develop and to solve the outstanding contradictions based on mutual respect of cultures and civilization without coercion and use of force. In a certain
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't have people with different cultures and shit and getting along and cooperating. It does not.
Yeah.
This idea that we have to always have war. I think that's one of those beliefs that Elon Musk has that needs to go. Like, yes, you're gonna if you think right now you don't have to worry about war and you just drop all of it, then you're gonna get killed because not everyone agrees. But the idea that we always it's just inevitable. We have to have it. That's only because you haven't changed the fundamental nature of humanity, which means you haven't changed the system sufficiently to be able to support a difference and a change in that. And that's why what we have is the solution, because they don't know it's possible. You saw that video with Elon Musk's kid, right? With his 4-year-old.
Dude,
and
he
wasn't
wasn't even putting coherent words together.
like, dude, my 2.5-year-old Caius like speaks more effectively than Elon Musk's 4-year-old.
And that's why they'll join us.
And I was like making a joke. I was like, yeah, but his mom is Grimes. And Katie was like, no, apparently Elon Musk has custody. And I was like, so who the fuck is raising their kid?
Yeah.
It's definitely not him like all the time with his kid. Like maybe sometimes, but I'm like, what the
Wow.
What the fuck?
That's crazy.
So they don't know. They don't get it. They don't know. His 4-year-old has a lower vocabulary than my 2-year-old. And he's apparently the smartest guy in the world.
Well, I wouldn't
Very
say
cool.
smart. Very cool. Very cool. Cameron, very cool. I have this one more RFK, but I'll just read this one. He says, the thing that people have to understand is that the 4 companies that make all 72 of those vaccines, and he's talking about, for context, how kids today now have 72 vaccines that they're supposed to get, that's on their schedule, versus the 3 that were on there, back when he was growing up in the 1960s or whatever, right? And so the companies that 4 companies that make all 72 of those vaccines, which is Pfizer, Glaxo, Merck, and Sanofi, all of them, he says, are convicted felons. And not only that, they're serial felons. Their business model is committing felonies. These companies in the last 10 years collectively have paid $35 billion in penalties, damages, fines for falsifying science, for defrauding regulators, lying to doctors, and for killing hundreds of thousands of people. Vioxx, which was Merck's flagship product, killed between 120 and 500,000 Americans. That was a pill. And Merck was selling this pill as a headache pill. And Merck knew and caused heart attacks and killed people, which we talked about on the podcast before. And they didn't tell anybody. And they knew a certain, we got the spreadsheets that showed their bean counters, their accountants. And this is, you're going to kill so many people per dose. We can still make more money, even if they all sue us. And in the end, they killed, and up to 500,000 Americans, and they got away with it. And they paid $7 billion in fines. Nobody went to jail. In fact, we covered this before. Not only did nobody go to jail, the head of Merck at that time went to become the head of the medical department at Harvard. Okay? And they probably made like $100 million in profits. So this is a company that it requires cognitive dissonance. I love that he says it requires cognitive dissonance to believe that these companies that are lying and cheating on every other pharmaceutical product, every other medical device that they create, they found Jesus in the vaccines and they aren't lying to us, right? And the thing is with the vaccines are the only place they could never get caught, because it's illegal in this country to sue a vaccine company. Because Congress passed a law in 1986 that said no matter how negligent that company is, no matter how malicious they are, no matter how toxic the product, no matter how grievous or the injury, you cannot sue them.
Okay, look at the whole point we were talking about with Amazon, Smithfield, how like they're ruthless and like, imagine if you gave those companies like total legal immunity from anything, what would they do? Like, give me a fucking break. Like, we live in a free, fair democracy and shit. Like, we don't live in a democracy. We live in the illusion of a democracy. We live in a place where there could be a democracy. It's like you have a front yard, there's dirt, but you have fake grass. there could be real grass, but the grass you have there isn't real. So you need to rip out that grass and put real grass. This is the problem: is our money system is like the foundation from which everything grows. That is the point. Here, I want to show you guys one thing. I sent this earlier. I think it's pretty cool. I'll just show it first, and then I'll give context.
Yeah, just real quick, when you're opening that, the whole Vioxx thing, you
Yeah.
guys literally wrote about it in Unlock Fort Knox, right?
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening to this and you don't have Unlock Fort Knox, you want it, or you haven't read it recently, like hit me up, or Drake as well. Like we'll get you a copy because it's all in there. It's been
Okay.
there.
That's my text messages. Okay. What happened here?
High speed. Whoa. Straight to the unconscious.
There we go. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is cool.
That's very cool. And the reason I shared that is because, I just wanted to make this point of like, you see how they put that one chemical? What was the second one they put in there?
Sodium.
Sodium
it was
chloride. I don't know, whatever it
chloride,
was.
right?
Sodium cobalt chloride and then sodium hydroxide. Okay, not that really matters. But when they put the second one in there, you saw how the other one starts like, but they weren't even touching it. So how is that happening?
Yeah.
Because you have the water, right? And that's like the common medium. You have the one, you put the other one in there, and then instantly it starts like, because the moment the other one is introduced, it's like the whole electrical system changes. And then everything starts to come. And my point is like, if you imagine the reality we're in as water, even though I know it's not technically just like we're floating in water, but it's all connected. There is no gaps, right? It's not like individual discrete points on a fucking grid. It's like actually everything is all one thing, all connected. And so when you speak, when you think, when you do stuff, you're literally influencing reality. So imagine when you're talking to people, you're affecting them with the sound of your words. Like you can draw them in. You can also repel them, but that's just if you don't trust yourself. If you trust yourself, it's like, imagine the trust in yourself is that sodium hydroxide. And it just like starts like pulling the part that's real within them towards you. And that's what we have to do now. It's not about like, we don't need to do the big grandiose stuff yet. We couldn't anyways. We're not at the size enough yet to do that. And that's okay. We can recognize that. Like us not being bigger than we are is not an indictment of what we're doing. It's just, that's where the fucking collective is at. But
we're just out of the game.
What? Well, yeah.
We're just ahead of the game.
But now you look at this is why I'm kind of trying to show, like, I think this point with Trump and him winning, and it's not just Trump winning, is it? It's also, you got Elon, RFK, Tulsi, Vivek, right. Ron Paul, you know what I'm saying? Like all the people that are like in there, and that's why, and people are liking that because you can go on X and see their response when these things happen, right? Yeah. And they're like, no Pompeo, no Nikki Haley, no this, no that, right? It's just like they're moving closer and closer to it, right? And all we have to be able to do is with a person articulate how we are that next logical step after this. And so the problem is this: you might think, well, when we get there, then we'll start promoting what we're doing. Like, no, that's not going to work because, like I was showing you before, the whole system is collapsing. Yeah. If Trump stops the wars, which he probably will, where does the money come from? And does it stop Smithfields? Does it stop things like this? Like, the system doesn't work effectively.
Right.
It's not best. So we are going to see a ramping up of AI. We are going to see a ramping up of all of those points. And what we have to do is get enough people that are walking this process. So when the time comes to be like, and here's the point, guys, like everyone is now fully at the point where they're like, this is no longer sustainable. then we will be able to support and show like, okay, now here, everybody, can you see reasonably now why we're saying what we're saying? And it can be like oh yeah, okay, let's get to work on that.
Yeah.
Right. But so everything is kind of being prepared the way for us, but we can't wait. Right. We can't just wait. That's not gonna.
Right. It's like, this is what you prepared for, Whoever originally said that quote, it's like you have all the stuff in your life that's ever happened to prepare you for certain moments. It's like, these are one of those moments,
All right. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got. I don't know. Any other points, guys?
No, just simply like, hey, you see that there are a lot of people right now, and with the excitement that is in the air for what is possible with America. Like it's really cool actually, because I feel like there was a lot of people before who were just kind of like you were saying, there's people with the CBDCs like, oh, what's the point? It's all just going to crumble anyway. And now there's definitely an excitement from people going like, oh, I can see what's possible. Like, oh, we're back. America's back. And I kind of remember this when I was much younger, there being this vibe of like, we live in America.
Yeah.
Like everything is amazing. Like we could do anything. We could create anything. Like you could become.
You can show like Singapore and like how great it is there and stuff, right? And I get that, but we could do that here. But they aren't going to do the other parts that we have.
Yeah.
Which is like the actual point of like freedom of thought, of expression, and so forth, right? So, and I know you're going to have the cynics like your Whitney Webbs, who are like, wow, oh, come on, Peter Thiel is connected to this guy, and therefore it's going to be all the way BlackRock again wins, and I get that. And that's why we keep emphasizing, we're not sitting here going, look, we won, we did it, okay, we're done. It's like, no, it's nothing has been solved.
That's what I'm saying. There's the
but at least we don't have Kamala Harris leading us into World War III tomorrow. Okay?
Right, exactly. There's the excitement there. There are people who can see vision now, because before there was like this sort of like dejection, I would say, from a lot of people of like, what's the point? But now there's people who are like, oh wow, I see a way out. Like, oh, the government's not just going to completely shit on all my food and give me the worst medical system. There's a possibility that we could reform this. We could change this. It's like, okay, now you see that that's possible, but here's your part. You have to do your part as well within this, and that's what we're all about. That's why we're here. I keep making the joke, but it's not really a joke. It's like Trump is going to need us.
Right, totally.
RFK, Thomas Mack, all these people, they need us because they can't just do it on their own. They're intelligent people. They make a lot of money. That's great. Good for them. But like, they need each and every one of us as individuals to also like.
The problem with the food supply is, how did we get there in the first place? Same like with the Federal Reserve. It's because people can't read, and phonics isn't the fucking answer. We've explained that.
Right. And that's the point that I was making with like the woman who's like, oh, I want to get the fluoride back in my system. It's like, okay, this is how dumb people are right now. It's like, yeah, okay, you're not a critical thinker. You can't see that. And maybe she was reading something that the government put, but again, it's like, you can't tell the difference between propaganda and like actual science. Like, oh, how is it that all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, so these companies, they paid $35 billion proving that they falsified their data. Like, okay, so you're just going to continue going along with
Trump's a 34-time convicted felon. Like, how many fucking felonies do you think Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline, these?
Yes,
they're felons. If you think of it as a person, and you don't worry about the people coming in and out. Just the person of those companies is felons. Like, they're literally so. But you're like okay with those felons, but then you think RFK Jr. is a crackpot,
right? Right.
And the other thing too is, if you look at, like I was saying, like the Whitney Webb types, like the cynics of like, which she has a lot of really cool points, right? Yeah. But it's like, okay, so then who's the elite people who are going to change the system that you're supporting?
Right. She's like, not.
That doesn't discount anything she's saying.
Right.
But to sit here and go, what does any of this matter anyways? Because, Trump's connected to this and that. It's like, yeah.
It's like
who the fuck actually thinks they're the solution? I mean, some people do. But that's our problem to solve, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the people who are supporting this side who think it's the final answer, we need to support them because the other people are totally fucking lost. Doesn't mean you can't get through to them.
Right.
But they're like, I can't believe Kamala lost. Like that person might be too far gone at the moment. They need to like get a reality fucking check, right?
Right.
But the people who are supporting this movement of Trump and so forth, at least they're like, they see the potential.
Yeah.
Right. They're not in the club, so they don't know what's really going on. And it might be some shady shit too. But we need but at the end of the day, the fact that they can get away with anything is because there's an elitism. It's because there's inequality of education vocabulary.
Right.
That's what we're here to solve.
Exactly that. And we're the only ones with the solution.
Fuck yeah. Mega. Make education great.
Yeah. Make education great. Mega. Maha. Maga.
Matga.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
All right.
We got it.
See you next time. Actually,
no, not
we're
next.
gonna.
We don't have.
We won't see you next week because we'll be doing something here at the ranch. But next week, 2 weeks.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Go.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.